This is the podcast.
What, you guys aren't cheering?
Woo!
You're not ramped up by the high energy? The Mando, when he says things like,
Okay. Grogu, come here.
Where's that? I feel like it's a lot of him going like,
Okay, where do I go now? I'll give it a shot. You're saying they need to be shot by me? Okay. Fine by me. I'll ask 1 to 2 questions and then just do it anyway.
yeah. Mandalorian, thank you for helping.
I don't help.
Feels like help.
Maybe a little bit. Bye.
Dun 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 dun.
but I mean, you know, it's a fine line. A man with no name who doesn't speak obviously can be cool. Can be cool.
I saw a really good quote, and I want to see if I can find who it was. I was reading through reviews yesterday, and I think it's the greatest distillation of what this movie fucks up to me.
Can
Am I allowed to speak yet? Or no?
Yeah, you can
can
speak. Can I do my impression of Rotta the Hutt really fast before I forget?
Oh boy.
Fuck. Can we get a photo in time?
Shit.
Hold on, fuck.
The physicality is fierce.
And then, of course, with the addition of, I'm not like my dad. I'm a good guy. I'm not like my dad.
Yeah, I'm my own man. You're a giant slug.
But it's just, he's like,
You're not a man. What are you talking
I'm
about?
not like my
Hut.
dad.
You
I'm
could
like,
at
will
least
this
say,
come
I'm
up
my
again?
own
He's
hut.
like, not really.
My little sister.
Your dad's dead. I don't care. Like,
My little sister Romley had, when Revenge of the Sith came out, a toy that was a Darth Vader mask with a voice changer inside. And it's one of those things where she was like, that's so cool. I can sound like Darth Vader. And it's like, kind of. All it's going to do is make your voice deep and reverby.
sure.
There's not a $30 technology at Toys R Us that makes you sound like James Earl Jones.
No.
And the Rotta the Hutt voice performance sounds like Jeremy Allen White wearing that toy. Where all it's
I'm
doing
not like my dad.
is just pitching his voice down
But then
and
it's just,
reverby.
why'd you hire him?
Exactly.
Doesn't sound like him or anyone.
No.
Yeah. Great. Geth, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
I feel like I'm already going to be the bad boy and say I liked this movie way more than the reviewers did.
Okay, more than. Would you identify yourself as liking it, or would you say that you just like it more?
Or you just sort of like thought it was all right.
Well, first thing I want to say
Yeah.
is you guys asked me to be here at 11 a.m.
Uh-huh.
And I canceled plans I had at 7 p.m. just in case we are still talking about this. David has said
It's not
he
happening.
has no intention of it, but
We're not
just so the fans
fucking-
know, I lit
Your pot committed.
without exaggeration, canceled a commitment to drive an ambulance for a volunteer
This is
first
true.
aid squad. I got someone else to cover the shift.
This is true.
I said, I don't know if we'll be done.
You really did. I mean, I understand that's probably in New Jersey.
I do need a little bit of transit time.
Right. So you've got the transit buffer to worry about.
That
as well.
still anticipates a 6 p.m.
Memorial Day weekend.
We could still be talking at 6 p.m. and I might have to get back through traffic.
I mean, you could be. I won't be here.
I might be.
I think it's a wise
There'll be a
decision.
David-shaped hole in the wall.
Look, you're going to leave it all on the field today. So even if you make it back to Jersey by 3 p.m., by noon.
If I make it home by 3 p.m., we have failed in our promise to the fine fans of the Blank Check podcast.
I would
including,
love it.
Shout
for
out
you
to
make-
Ryan, who works at the Dublin pub in Morristown, New Jersey. I was there one night.
Shout out Ryan.
Okay, so
He said him and all his friends listen to Blank Check and are on a WhatsApp group
and
about
this
it.
isn't your fault, Geth. I just have to speak to this right away.
Yeah.
What?
There's a problem developing in our podcast where now every guest comes in and is like, don't you worry. I'm not working for a week after this.
Yeah.
All the time. We're going for it. Okay.
set the bar
I'm
on that?
never leaving. I
We
won't
had
leave.
A
Alex Ross
new
Perry.
record-breaking episode this week. But I don't know if we can necessarily announce the guest, or can we?
We can do it.
It was Tracy Letts.
Tracy Letts.
Who has better, who has things to do.
Yes.
Won a Pulitzer.
He's a man of letters.
And
you'll
said,
stick
I'm
around-
going to
you'll
beat the
stick around
record.
for Let's, but old Gethard
no,
here.
I wanted to kill myself.
Old Gethard comes through. You threaten to run through the wall like the fucking Kool-Aid
Gethard
man.
shows up. He says, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
No, serious.
The guy who's been here from the very beginning. The guy who's part of the very DNA and fabric of this show.
as we often say, the three of us would not know each other if not for you.
Everybody says I'm the bad boy of Blank Check, mostly me, but maybe I'm the glue holding this goddamn thing together. But
You're the embryo.
Tracy Letts walks through, and you'll stay as long as he.
Well, there were two issues. One, of course, I do not want to be rude to Tracy Letts, who is obviously an estimable person. Two, we did have another thing to record after he was done, so I couldn't leave.
It was a very long day.
It was a very long day.
I'm going to admit, it even broke me.
My wife was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Legit, I am not okay. I'm fucked up." Same. And I was fucked up all day and pretty much tomorrow.
Same.
Yeah, I was just like, we can't do that again.
It was too much.
Too much. So
stay tuned for that episode. It's a corker.
The episode I thought was very good. Yeah, we're all like holding it together.
Broken.
But two, Geth.
Yeah.
I used to run, like shows, big scale, kind of like you got all these balls. You understand the logistics and the nightmare.
I'm also a father.
I'm also a father.
I'm also a father.
And
a husband.
To be home.
And I understand all of it, but
at the same time, you're like, if we don't.
Well, no, David, I mean, I understand all of those obligations. And I also feel like, if there's a counterpoint, I would say even with all those obligations on the table, I never shortchanged the people.
Beyond that,
you never did.
Has Gethard
You've never shortchanged
ever seen a self-destructive or self-harming bit that he hasn't run headfirst into? If I know one thing about the man, my friend,
I feel like a little
my
bit
hero.
You're a little bit like, those were the glory days. That's back when
you always got that itch.
Oh yeah,
but I mean,
if we can do something ridiculous, that's what
I think about your face all the time though. On that TCGS episode, was it
the Chris Gethard show? For those who don't,
was it when Fallon was on, or maybe Hugh had just been on?
I had
Fallon?
been on. Oh, that was a bad night.
That was the first time I ever went live.
And you're like, people are actually paying attention. I just plugged this show on national television, and that episode was particularly chaotic.
It was horrible.
It was called Ruin This Show. You went on Jimmy Fallon. You got network TV coverage for a cable access show.
Yes, and I said, call up and or show up and do whatever you want to try to ruin the show.
On Fallon, you said tomorrow night I'm going live. The theme is ruin the show.
Show up and ruin my show.
Do anything you can. You can stay. You even suggested you can stand in front of the camera.
Yes, and then
which it's a good bit.
It is a good bit. But what I didn't anticipate, and I say this with love, I think there are other people who have done renegade talk shows like Eric Andre, who I think is hilarious and who I love and admire greatly.
Jimmy Fallon, one of the wildest out there.
No, but I was going to say, I think one of the things Eric Andre has that made him more successful than me is like he can be ruthless if he has to.
Totally.
And I don't have it in me. Like my boundary on ruthlessness is not extended far enough
had
for
a mile-long pier to walk.
I think Sims was about to say.
But I was just going to say on that show, what I didn't anticipate was that a lot of green comedians that we probably would not have been booking at that point used it as a chance to come grab screen time.
That's what happened.
And I didn't have it in me to just be like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, right. It was kind of a worst of
It wasn't weirdos wandering off the street who I could speak to in a certain way. It was young artists who ultimately I do feel very much proud of my ability to support young artists over the years.
But unfortunately,
I'm not going to trash young artists who show up in costumes.
It was a bunch of Din Grogus who hadn't yet learned the way.
Yeah, they hadn't.
Din Djarin and Grogu. You've sort of combined
No.
Excuse
me.
Oh, right. Is Grogu's first name
I have only recently watched The Mandalorian season 3, which I finally polished off.
You're caught up on all more. You probably have a little fresher than I.
I had tapped out on everything post Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
A year ago, we put this episode on the calendar.
Yeah.
We were looking ahead at the schedule, and we went we basically never book guests on new releases.
Yeah,
and
usually sort of a pain for them because they would have to watch the movie right away. And
if we do, it's a thing we usually do at the last second because something sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
A year ago, we were looking at the schedule. We were like, got to get Geth back on. What's the right thing for Geth?
And you guys were throwing episode ideas, and I forget, it kind of organically came up. Maybe we just do a Star Wars episode, so my commitment to the Star Wars bit actually makes functional sense and doesn't distract from anything else.
Of course. And I do want to call out, I'm wearing a Spider-Man 2 t-shirt today and a Spider-Man hat. I do want to talk about Spider-Man a bit. I have some Spider-Man talk I genuinely want to do. I think it's important we talk about
in
Spider-Man
in this
episode.
I have two other franchises that I also want to bring up. I also have two other franchises. I do want to just to answer the question.
Yeah.
I would say I did land on the side of enjoying the experience of watching Mandalorian and Grogu.
Okay. I think that's fair.
It had things I liked, but I do think that the sadder conversation is,
what is this anymore?
I think we all need to, I also will say, I think the Blank Check podcast honestly does matter in the world of film nerds.
Nice.
You guys and JD Amato, I think, came together and showed people that Speed Racer was in fact a good movie. And now there's the other
day, credit to Emily Yoshida as well.
But there's think pieces. I mean, JD's my guy.
Yeah.
But there's think pieces out there about how Speed Racer is actually good. I think that started with Blank Check. But I think Blank Check is a really good place for us to have like an honest, not histrionic, not internet commenty, ragey conversation about like, we've kind of just have to admit defeat about the cultural relevance of Star Wars. And then we can go back to enjoying the movies again.
I don't even know if it's... Yeah.
They are not meeting the moment in any way. And there's so many ways that this movie shows that. But then if we can get past the fact that they just refuse to do anything that meets the moment outside of Andor, but then we hear about all the weird backbiting behind the scenes about the Gilroy Filoni stuff where it feels like the Andor stuff is not appreciated there. You sit here, I go, I saw a movie where a rocket ship had turtle feet.
Yeah.
I saw a movie where Baby Yoda and a bunch of Babu Fricks scaled a vertical wall.
That I was fine with.
David and I are on the same page.
I like.
Right. There's things I like.
There was like a 20 to 25 minute section that David and I were locked in on.
But I want to report to you.
Did you guys see it together?
We saw it together in IMAX.
I didn't get the invite.
Well, because it was...
We knew a year ago I was going to be on this episode.
We did book it a year in advance.
During one of the busiest weeks of my life when I was already canceling other plans, I had to find time to fit this in when I didn't get the invite.
You chose to not go to the after party for Colbert's final taping last night so that you could be rested.
Everyone settled down.
I was your beauty sleep.
Everyone settled down. I saw it at a press screening. Which, you know, so I only get that invite a few days earlier. And I had a +1. I brought Griffin.
Yeah.
Ben did not go.
Ben didn't go.
Ben saw it by himself last night.
Did, yeah.
I also figured like you would probably just see it in jury. You know, you would see it.
I know. I'm giving you the guff. I'm giving you the guff.
The comfort of you're giving me
the bad boy gotta be bad.
I honestly, I didn't.
You don't get mad at a dog for barking. You don't get mad at Geth for being a bad boy.
Come on, baby.
I was a little annoyed at the screening because my wife was out that night. We had to like fucking get a babysitter because I was like, because it's like, she was like, is there going to be another screen? And I'm like, it's Disney. They're just kind of like, you show up or fuck you.
Let's also acknowledge the other thing.
Yeah.
We were coming from Citi Field where we had spent the afternoon at Star Wars Day.
That was fine.
Star Wars Day, which I will say also, I think, factored into our experience of being very, very underwhelmed by this movie was Star Wars Day with the Mets was an experience that reminded me more of what I like about Star Wars than the Star Wars movie I saw that night.
I mean,
Mr. Met was dressed up as the Mandalorian.
Yes. I thought he gave a better performance than Pedro Pascal. I thought he was a little more locked in.
He was locked in. The t-shirt canon, there was just a lady dressed as Padme, and I want to say episode 2.
And the t-shirt is canon, right?
You know, like they were just kind of doing shit. Like there was just a stormtrooper walking around.
Yes.
You know, like you know, like,
Darth. There were a couple stormtroopers.
You could kind of like high five them.
And they had like good video package stuff.
They had great video packages, and you didn't see this because of where our seats were exactly. Okay. But on the screen for every picture, you saw
a little bit.
Your current enthusiasm for the New York Mets Star Wars Day versus what I can only imagine your tone and body language will be for the actual Mandalorian and Grogu experience is making me sad.
I also want to say,
it's making me sad ahead of time.
We went to Citi Field. We took the 7.
We took
Manhattan.
7 the Upper West Side. Yeah, right.
And saw the film.
I'm currently all in on the Mets. It was also a fucking great game. Like
bouncing
quality
back, right?
start from Nolan.
Yeah, see, I didn't know any about that.
5 dingers.
I wasn't watching any of that stuff.
Great game. Yeah, it's true. My friend Ellen was there, and she was like, I want to get Griffin into it. Like, and I was just like, Griffin's been going to sports games all his life.
Yeah.
Like he knows how to entertain himself at a sports game. He gets his food.
Yes.
He's got his like business.
Check out the merch.
Right. Yeah. You're not about to be like, Griff, look at this guy. Like, let me get you in,
this is a misnomer. She did turn to me at one point, and this is Ellen Cushing, who co-hosts your secret podcast.
It's different, not secret podcast that you should all listen to.
She turned to me at one point and went, so Griffin, what relationship do you have to baseball? And I'm like, everyone thinks that I've just been like, never looked at it. And I'm like, this was shoved down my throat for 12 years.
Yeah. Right.
There was an extended prison sentence.
That war was waged.
Yes.
You know, I'm not going to wage that war. Right. Exactly.
It was much like Andor. We fought so hard for our freedom.
The Gorman Massacre.
From the tyranny. I mean, I've been talking about this with my therapist lately. I'm like...
About Andor?
No, I should talk more about Andor with her. I don't know if she's watched it. But I feel like until I was 12, I played 2 sports a week.
Yeah, because
they kept making me
that
do it.
Seem true.
They did that shit.
I've known you almost 20 years now, and that does not ring true.
Isn't that crazy?
But sports? Was it Manhattan sports? Were you playing like highlight?
No.
Geth, I was in Manhattan too. I did all the little league sports.
I did
like
baseball,
they had them all.
I did soccer. I did basketball
Griffin
camp
in particular.
Yes.
Would you be shocked if he was like, I had to play 2 sports and it was racquetball and chess? Would you be shocked if Griffin?
Would you be surprised?
I'm laughing.
Would you be surprised that when I got to high school to fulfill my PE requirement, I took a physio ball class? That was when I had the agency to lean into the bit.
What is physio ball?
What the hell? Is that like where you got like a medicine
basically
ball?
like Lamaze class. It's doing exercises on a big medicine ball.
Kind of like rolling up and down or whatever.
Yeah, and I almost got an incomplete.
They were like,
I'm not even joking.
They were like, what's the right field of you doing this? Because you're not like, how do we make this
From
easier?
13 on, I was exactly what everyone thinks I was. From before 12,
like in gym class discussing Betty Friedan with the other kids in gym class, like that type. Yes.
Not to stereotype with the girls. Until I was 13, I was doing baseball. I was doing soccer. They made me go to basketball camp, roller hockey, boxing.
You boxed?
Yes.
There's not a no.
Yes. No, this shit was a nightmare.
And by boxing, were you just a punching bag?
He was foxy boxing.
Well, no, I wasn't like competitively boxing against people, but my dad was like, you should learn how to defend yourself. And I'm like, what if I'm a professional podcaster? And he's like, what's a podcast? And I'm like, I'm going to figure out how to make this a thing.
Do that instead. And I'll defend myself on mic. Thank you very much. How are we on?
I had a good time at the game. I had a good time at the game. And Ellen,
you guys really don't want to talk about the Mandalorian.
Ellen, we've gone through all of it. The game was good.
Game was great.
Yeah.
And then we went to the movie and, we're watching the movie and I would say, we're chatting a little bit. We're sitting in the back row and like, a lot of times we're sort of like, this ain't really, it's lighting my fire. And then the Grogu part, which we'll talk about more, where it's only Grogu, right? Where he's in the swamp alone trying to help. Like 2 minutes in,
I have massive thoughts on it.
I whispered to Griffin, like, I'm not saying this is good, but I'm more interested.
I'm leaning
and like 2 minutes later, I was like, I'm officially declaring this part of the movie good.
And I
came aboard.
And up until
for how long into it?
Basically, the whole Grogu alone segment, I was very into.
Spoilers, the Mandalorian wakes up again.
Yes. Now, again, I know that anytime I don't want to lean in too much to my relationship with your guys' fans, but anytime that I have a counterpoint to you guys, it does set me apart.
Don't worry about it.
I got very restless during that stretch.
See, I was restless during every other part.
I would agree.
And David and I were checking in. I didn't hate this movie. It did not inspire enough to make me angry.
It is not the worst Star Wars movie.
No,
Can we agree?
No, not even close.
9.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And Solo, I would argue.
I think I prefer Solo to this.
I do as well.
But I mean, it's probably kind of.
Okay, I would say I liked this better than.
Keep going.
Are you going to say it?
Most of the prequels and sequels.
That's
okay. That
a little low.
Yeah, I'm not there.
If I had to sit down and watch one of them again, I might watch this one again because it's standalone and not tying me into a bunch of lore that I know is kind of a headache and confusing.
I'll say this. This probably will end up being a Star Wars movie I rewatch a lot because I, of course, suffer from insomnia.
Right.
Now,
and this movie was threatening to put me asleep.
Yeah.
When you guys see it at a press screening, I will also say I saw it in Morristown, New Jersey, where I was in the theater and there were 2 moms who brought a group of about 9 boys who all seemed to be about 11 to 13 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I also got to watch it in that context where as I left the theater in a way that I promise was not too creepy.
Yeah.
One of the moms made eye contact with me. And I was like, how'd they like it? And she was like, they. So I'm like,
I had the same exact experience.
That's a lot different than seeing it with a bunch of professional reviewers.
Totally.
No offense to one of my favorite reviewers.
Well,
it's Sims, it's Seppenwall, it's everybody else, baby.
That's very nice of you, Chris.
Seppenwall was at the screening.
Oh, was he?
I'm sure.
He was. He texted me.
Seeing it in a room with Sims and Seppenwall, I think sets a different
Sims and Sepp?
Well, Sims and Seppen, go right down the list. That's a different environment than 8 kids in Jersey who like fucking monsters fighting. They want to see a poison snake.
Live action.
I hear you on the kids.
They want to see a dragon snake.
They want to see IRL Djarak.
I very much was like, yeah, it's a movie. It's very much like a movie for kids. And like, I don't buy that as a defense exactly, but I was like, certainly that's the tone it's going for.
Experientially, though,
I would say,
I had that.
I would say at a Star Wars press screening, yes. there's a few learned espresso sipping corduroy. There is a lot of people who work in the sort of fan and genre journalism world who are very enthusiastic about Star Wars.
I would say it was majority like fandom journalists over film critics.
Yeah.
Right.
I will throw out, it was like pretty silent. It was very late in the movie. In that same section, I want to say, where I turned to Dave and I went, I think that's the first joke that landed. Like that got a laugh from the audience outside of like one isolated.
The jokes were bad. The dialogue was bad.
The jokes were bad.
The score was awesome.
The score's awesome.
The score was legitimate.
Ludwig Göransson is beyond innocent.
The score was good enough that multiple times throughout the movie, I clocked, this score is fucking cool and weird and awesome.
Interesting about the score? It's different. And it's like there's not a lot of stuff in this movie that felt too different.
No.
But the score is one thing where you're like,
I also even as someone saying I liked it, like seeing a movie, and obviously spoilers, right? We don't need to say that. Seeing a movie where Grogu establishes no new powers that we haven't seen in the show, to my memory.
He does not.
Healing and lifting.
He does that already.
And literally it ends with them getting just the two of them back in a fucking spaceship and flying away, which I've seen 1,000 times again. I'm like, this reflects so much corporate boardroom.
A little bit.
Grouping analysis in a way that's frustrating that, again, the refusal to meet the moment. Holy shit.
I've just held the balance on a couple things. Yeah. Having rewatched season 3 recently, they do at one point dub him Din Grogu.
Yeah, it's like a family name. Din is the family
name. They accept that they're training him as a Mandalorian, even though in season 2 and Boba Fett, both Ahsoka and deepfake Luke trained him. So the idea is
that they train him and he kind of is like, but I don't want to be a Jedi.
So the idea is that he's the first kind of hybrid. That he's like the first Jedi Mandalorian. But they don't do it.
He's a force using.
They don't do it in this movie.
Yeah.
But season 3, they're like, he is canonically Din Grogu. And when they start calling him Din Grogu, they don't stop calling him Din Grogu, which speaks to kind of what you're saying, which is this movie is in this insane damned if you do, damned if you don't place where the movies have just been on ice. The TV shows have become this unwieldy thing. Grogu as a character is the one thing that undeniably has been working for them.
Selling toys for
making money
years.
Hand over fist, right?
Don't fuck with Grogu when kind of all we want to see is some character development from fucking
And
Grogu.
you can just tell that this was a corporate mandate. Favreau has said this himself, that they had season 4 at least like broken down into outlines, if not like basic like scriptments. They had the season figured out. And Disney was like, can you make a movie instead? And they scrapped all of that and they wrote a new thing from scratch. And it was because he said, A, it felt like what we had was designed for TV and it wouldn't work in film because you need to tell one cohesive story and not be episodic. I would say this movie fails on that front. It is crazy to me that it's not just several episodes mushed together, that he claims all of that was thrown out and that would potentially maybe be a season 4 if they go back to TV, which is the real issue here. Yeah. You're making a movie that is not like a finale to a TV show. It's not The Graduation. It's just, here's another adventure. It's a little bit bigger in terms of length. We don't want to make it too tied into the lore of the 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, let alone the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, what have you. So it's like basically not building on anything for the people who have watched that. But if you haven't watched that, it doesn't really like get you into the world well or make you care about these characters outside of just Grogu being cute. And I saw
4 Babu Fricks on a little dune buggy flying thing. Like they gave me that.
There's stuff, but I saw
Sigourney
someone
Weaver in a Rogue Squadron.
Well, we're going to talk about her.
Talk about that.
I saw someone in a review say
nothing else she did was good.
Things already were getting out of hand when season 3 of The Mandalorian lost the intimacy of the lone wolf and cub dynamic and the standalone adventures.
And they did try to make this one kind of lone wolf and cub, where the second cub was Jeremy Allen White as a jacked Hutt.
It's sort of, it was lone wolf and cub and bub.
Kind of wild.
It's insane that
I want to
That's
just be
like
clear.
A bit we would do of like, they're going to make a movie with like Hot Jabba's son.
Like
he's played by Jeremy Allen White.
I also want to be clear though, even me saying like, I liked it better than the reviewers. I think being in a theater with a bunch of kids helped. My final feeling really was like going from a show that I loved, that season 1 made me feel like maybe Star Wars is back on track. That the end of the movie, as I walked out, I went, did I really just watch those 2 fucking assholes fly away in a spaceship again? Like that.
To what end?
Like I liked it better than the reviewers, and I still walked away like, it's not how movies work.
No,
in movies,
agreed.
the characters are different at the end than in the beginning, and they just copped out on the very basic narrative choice. At point A, things begin, and in the end, you see how characters change and how that affects the narrative.
If this movie would even claim to have an emotional arc, it would be Din Djarin, the Mandalorian himself,
who
learns that someday Grogu's going to grow up.
Well,
that is, and like vaguely accepts it. Except if we know
after?
one thing about Grogu, it's that he ages so fucking slow.
Well, he's not allowed to grow up. Then we can't sell him in toy form.
We can't sell him in toy form.
Right.
B, timeline-wise, I think Mando will be fucking dead before Grogu even hits puberty.
Possibly.
There's a thing I do want to talk about that I wrote down.
Please.
Ties in directly to what
Geth
we're
brought
saying
in
right
notes.
now.
They're written in blood.
Like a napkin.
And what I don't want to do
Robert
is
Grace
dwell in
with
the
a file under his arm.
I don't want to dwell in the era of fan fiction. It's boring.
Okay.
But to the exact point that we're saying right now of like this little Muppet sells toys, we can't ever have them change, is very frustrating corporate thinking. And there is a thing that I perked up for that I only want to put out there as like fantasy booking, so to speak.
Okay, I wonder if it's the same thing I thought.
Because I have a feeling that if I say this out loud right here, the day after the movie came out on the Blank Check podcast, that I have a feeling it may be revealed at some point that corporate interference interfered with something I thought they were about to do.
Okay.
And I have
Just say the thing, please. Okay. What is the thing?
Why are you already mad at me?
David, this is
You're already mad at me.
We never would have met.
I drove from New Jersey.
This
I paid tolls and congestion pricing.
We will absolutely cover your travel. Jeez, just tell Ben.
Drove very far.
Business expense.
No one told you to move to the boonies. Sorry. He's happy. He's got a canoe. He got a kayak.
So
it's our best episode.
That dragon, the dragon thing scratches. Mando.
The poisony
They
thing.
establish this poison's going to kill him. He tells Grogu to get lost.
Yeah.
Right. In the
Grogu comes back. Yeah. He puts him in the weird little mud hut he tries to build. Bonks his head a couple times. It's sort of cute, but I've seen it a million fucking times.
The one bonk I laughed and then they kept doing it and I was like, guys, you got me the first time.
By the way, bonk was the laugh in the audience. That was the one.
I'll also say too, nobody loved Babu Frick's original appearance more than me. You guys heard it.
True.
I don't know that multiply it by 4 and put him on a fast little dune buggy is like, come on, guys. We're treading on why people hated the Ewoks.
I posted a negative letterbox thing and people in the comments went, how was Babu Frick? And I'm like, this is the trick they're pulling in the marketing. People are like, Babu Frick's in it. And I'm like, no, this is set decades before Rise of Skywalker. At best, we are watching Babu Frick's uncles.
Yeah.
That's the best case.
I know that some of what I'm about to say
actor.
is...
it's Shirley Henderson.
Some of what I'm about to say is tangled up in the existence of this timeline that they're bound to. But he's there with the fucking scratch.
Yeah.
They established that. They have said so many times that Grogu doesn't speak, right? They explicitly say he doesn't speak. These all feel like choices here.
Yep.
I will tell you, when I'm watching Mando with that scratch, I am brought back to one of the most influential moments of my entire childhood, which is Transformers the movie. Which I did not see in the theater.
I've only seen it once, but is Optimus Prime dies in it?
Yes.
Someone famous dies in it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Famously
Spoilers
dies. 1986.
Year-old movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Optimus Prime dies. Orson Welles was dying when he recorded.
But Orson Welles plays the planet.
He plays Unicron. He is a giant transformer the size of a planet.
Right. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's great.
Fantastic use of Weird Al Yankovic.
Optimus Prime,
by the way, incredible use.
But Optimus Prime dies.
Yeah,
he dies in like the first.
Let me talk to you about this.
Movie.
Let me talk to you about this. So, because I'm older than you guys, I was watching Transformers episode by episode as a 6-year-old child.
It was like one of your first genre.
I'm hanging on to this thing. Half an hour. Is it the Matrix of Power? Is that
Matrix of Leadership?
The Matrix, the Matrix of Leadership.
Chest,
yes,
right. Yeah.
Now,
the cube.
My my family didn't have money growing up, and that was the same year my parents bought a new house, so there was zero disposable income. Plus, I don't think anyone in my family wanted to sit through the Transformers movie.
But also, you're not getting Hot Rod that year. You're not getting
Mini-Bots. I never had the big Transformers toys. I only ever had Mini-Bots. Many of them bought at garage.
Like Headmasters? Or are we
no,
talking like
Mini-Bots?
Okay,
Mini-Bots.
Mini-Bots.
Point being,
whenever we do Michael Bay,
I don't see Transformers the movie. I'm also 6 years old. I think it was 86 it came out. I'm 6.
You're right.
Yes, this is the anniversary.
I'm 6 years. I turned 6 in May of 86. Okay, I don't see the movie. Thank you so much. show comes back on in the fall.
Right.
And for some reason, it was not on at 3:30.
Yeah.
I was watching it before school. And before school, the new season comes on, and it is revealed to those of us who didn't see the movie. Because at 6, you're not catching spoilers, not in the pre-internet world. I turned on this show and realized they fucking killed Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And when I tell you without exaggeration, I remember distinctly falling to my knees and grieving the death of Optimus Prime as a 6-year-old boy. That's not an exaggeration.
It is widely reported as one of the greatest kind of like corporate boondoggles of all time.
They went for
on the level of
They
like
went
New
for it.
Coke.
Right.
Where it really fucking damaged the brand.
They were like, we're doing this.
Maybe.
And then they were
And
like, what have we done?
they reversed it.
crying in the theater.
Right.
They also sold a bunch of Hot Rodimus. And he went from Hot Rod to Rodimus Prime.
Yeah.
They sold toys for him.
Yeah.
Fucking, what was the blue and red guy's name?
Is there-
Alpha something.
Is there a
Whatever.
reason they did this? Like, what was their...
I thought it was dramatically
Well, there is a
interesting.
story too that
It wasn't like some like, we need to get rid of Optimus because we don't like the voice actor or whatever.
I have read that they wanted to
kept
kill
doing the Michael Bay movies.
I've read that they wanted to
I'm
kill
well aware.
Duke in the G.I. Joe movie.
Yeah. Yes,
but
I've
that
heard
there
that
was
as well.
it was flagged that it would be like really disturbing to kill a human, so they used the idea.
They were around
with
the same
Optimus.
time. I think they just
Point being, though, it
they
was
were
a
looking
big
for,
narrative
like,
swing,
and
and it was
Empire
fucking
Strikes
cool.
Back. Can we end on a downer note? I think it was
Now,
that kind of
I'm
thing.
watching Mandalorian and Grogu, and I go, are they really about to kill fucking Mando?
It did kind of
This
feel like
gets interesting. And I have a feeling there was a script where he was going to die. And I have a feeling where then Grogu's going to come back and we're going to watch Grogu go fucking ape shit. We're going to watch Grogu murder those Hutts in a way that Jabba the Hutt. Listen, let me finish the thought. Let me finish the thought.
Let him finish.
I think you're going to see him fucking wield how he's gonna pull off fights that fucking Ray Park as Darth Maul didn't pull off.
Yeah.
He's gonna do disturbing shit that's more disturbing than we saw Vader do in Obi-Wan, the most redeeming aspect of the Obi-Wan series. We're gonna see him fight with more fucking Yoda shit than Yoda did versus Count Dooku. And it's gonna end with him finally saying, he's gonna end with him saying his first words, "My father he was." And we're gonna realize that Jabba the Hutt's son is witnessing it, and we're going to see a franchise that so canonically says that sons hang on to the sin. It is the responsibility of a son to reject the sins of the father and not carry them forward in generations. We're going to realize that Mando's refusal to have Grogu train fully with Ahsoka and Luke was about the emotional attachment, the most dangerous emotional attachment in this franchise since Padme and Anakin himself. And we're going to be left with a cliffhanger that suggests that perhaps Grogu is reactivating as the Jedi Master Yoda was, or perhaps the Sith have been reborn because Mando was not brave enough as a dad to let his son go live his own life. And it's going to be one of the most, it's going to be the best and most intriguing heel turn since Hogan joined the goddamn NWO. And somebody came in and said, we can't do it. Grogu's got to stay a good guy.
There is no way they were ever going to do that.
I will predict that someone will hear this on Blank Check, and it will eventually come out that there was talk of killing Mando and turning Grogu bad. I would bet money on it.
I agree with you on
It would
2
be
out of
so
3
much more
things.
interesting.
I agree. David,
would be
let me
like
finish before you make
Shawn
stinky
Michaels
poo-poo
being
face.
Orange and Eddie through the
Don't make stinky poo-poo face.
I'm making the face. I'm making the face.
I thought there was no universe in which Grogu ever turned bad.
No.
I did think for a second, this feels like at some point someone pitched, can Mando die? It got shut down almost immediately. And they were like, what if he's out of commission for 30 minutes?
It's not great. It's a far more intriguing movie if Mando fucking dies.
I agree with you. It felt like that was killed immediately.
You guys are crazy.
What?
David Sims, you're letting me down
sorry,
right now.
No,
you're letting me down
There
right
is
now.
Absolutely.
You're calling me crazy.
All right, I'm just getting yelled at, so I will actually shut up.
You're literally calling us crazy.
You guys have ranted for 5 minutes about how you think they wanted to kill the Mandalorian in the first Mandalorian movie.
That is
let him have the floor.
It's also the last
Let David have the floor.
Okay.
Please.
Sorry, but like, no,
That
guys.
got weirdly heated.
Yes, you guys were like yelling at me after
You started shouting
blathering on.
crazy.
Because
You started telling a notoriously mentally ill friend of yours that he was crazy on mic. Career Suicide 2017, highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes.
I raved it in the Atlantic.
Thank you so much, but it's an insecurity of mine to be called crazy.
Sorry, you're crazy about this. No, it's just like, why the fuck would they kill? This is
to fucking grow and change and take a narrative chance and to meet the moment. We are not living in a time of happy fucking endings right now.
I will say
something different than Gethard.
You guys are triggering me because I think the worst dramatic choice any franchise ever makes is that death is like a way of, conveying storytelling, like maturity and shit.
But you don't think in Star Wars a father dying is not?
It's been done a million times. Boring.
May I
boring.
Make my case?
Sure. Go ahead.
I agree with you generally.
Yeah. Oh, he died. Great. Now it's important.
I think it was a thing that probably in sitting down ideation, we have a Mando movie on the schedule 2 years from now. We just threw out our season. What's the movie about? I bet you it was pitched at one point and he is just asleep for 30 minutes was the solve for that. The reason why I am inclined to feel like Gethard that there were seeds of intention somewhere, even if they were nipped out immediately, is that the movie is all trying to be about what happens to Grogu when the Mandalorian's gone. How is he going to be on his own? And the only good section of the movie, as we said, is him being on his own. It is different than just killing a character for emotional weight or growth, because the whole notion of the movie is, can this thing survive on its own? I also think the only section of this movie that had any narrative tension to me was, I'm a little bit worried about Grogu now. He doesn't have someone protecting him.
You're Occam's razoring yourself. You just made it. It's not that they were like, should we kill the Mandalorian? They were like, we need a Grogu section. I really think they just fundamentally were like,
anything with it.
Of course they did. This movie has the mandate of not doing anything.
But they couldn't even say, give him a little fucking lightning bolts out.
This movie has
let him go crazy because his dad's almost dying.
A literal card with a blank head and a question mark on it of like, this is the real bad guy. And you're like, oh, okay. Like,
I turned to David, I go, it's Sigourney, right?
We were like,
they don't hire
Sigourney because she's the only famous person they got.
We're looking at the opening credits. There's no surprise cast members.
Or there's some secret, reveal they're going to do of either a new celeb or Dooku's back. Or
Dark
fucking,
Grogu.
Filoni will start
or Dark
Grogu. It and it's like Thrawn or whatever, right? Instead, they're just like, that was just the bald guy you saw right at the start. Yes. That was just him. That's that. And that's done. This movie absolutely is just kind of like, no. Stop. Don't worry, nothing happened.
But
it's like I guess close circle, guys.
Us getting heated, which I do apologize for. David, how much do you think that was from the start? How much do you think that was corporate interference? Because I think Griffin and I are both on the side of
what I can
this
gather,
think tanked to death.
Filoni wanted to do a Mandalorian Ahsoka crossover series.
Can I introduce the podcast and then I feel like we can do all of this?
We haven't introduced the
This
podcast.
is why I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you.
Oh, well, sometimes you're trying to help me, but I am in the middle of saying something. And you say, can I do something while I'm in the middle of saying
It's a massive conversation we're about to chip off. It's a massive conversation.
Is this all still the
This
intro?
is Blank Check with Griffin and David. I'm Griffin.
God.
I'm David.
It's a podcast about filmographies, directors who had massive success early in their careers, given a series of blank checks to make whatever crazy passion projects they want. Sometimes those checks clear and sometimes they bounce, baby. This started out as a Star Wars podcast. And then for the first 5 years, even when we moved on from Star Wars, new Star Wars movies were coming out and we kept talking about Star Wars. And Gethard would come on to talk about other movies and we'd still talk about Star Wars. And people loved it until they hated it. Some were calling a Dark Grogu turn. And it has now been 7 years since the last Star Wars movie. Now, to set up your point, in that time, here are films that have been announced and then canceled.
Yeah.
Patty Jenkins,
Rogue
Squadron announced at Disney Investor Day live stream in 2021.
She was in a video with like an Air Force guy or whatever.
Right.
Rogue Squadron movie?
Might have been cool. Who knows? Like, who can say?
Also canceled or announced and never realized. Untitled Taika Waititi movie.
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson trilogy.
Sure.
David Benioff and D.B. Weiss trilogy.
That was movies, right?
Trilogy.
These things are all canonically dead.
Correct.
Yes.
And then at the Star Wars Celebration 3 years ago, they came out and said, we're finally ready to announce the next couple movies.
Yeah.
Here are the three. James Mangold is going to make a movie that's the earliest thing we've ever done on the Star Wars timeline.
Right.
It is the birth of Jedi.
Years ago.
The first Jedi. Sounds
cool.
cool.
Sounds cool. But
sounds like the old Dark Horse comics.
It's like these things where they bring a guy out and they're like, he's got an idea.
And he just signed the contract a minute ago and gave us one sentence.
And everyone's like, what's it called? When's it coming out? And they're like, see you later. But yes, that is a thing.
The second thing they announced was episode 10.
Or something like it.
They said it was episode 10.
Okay. Did they actually say it?
Daisy Ridley is back.
Yes,
This is episode 10. They had just fired, what's his name? Damon Lindelof.
Or he'd walked
earlier.
away.
Damon Lindelof had been on a secret movie that was then retroactively revealed to have been episode 10, which was announced with Daisy Ridley's coming back. That movie was originally going to take a different direction. Now they were like, it's the continuing adventures of Rey. That movie has had seemingly no public progress.
Although it doesn't seem entirely dead. They keep trying to figure out what that is.
The third movie that was announced is Dave Filoni has this master plan, Feige style, of all these series. They're building up to Thrawn as the Thanos.
Right.
And he is going to make a movie that counts as basically the phase 1 finale of the entire Disney Plus project. It's going to be Ahsoka and Mandalorian and Boba Fett and fucking everybody.
Who the fuck is Thrawn?
Oh, you know what, Ben? It's just a great question.
Thrawn's from the Timothy Zahn novels. He's one of the only people from the extended universe they've brought into canon.
He blue. He was in Ahsoka. He's the blue guy.
He's great.
Okay. Ben has watched all
those old Timothy Zahn novels are fucking great.
You know, people.
I remember them being great. I read them. To be fair, when I was 12 years old.
I also read them as a child. I don't really remember them. I remember Thrawn being cool, but they brought him into the show.
Weird alien race. What was that species? Those like assassins that were under his thumb.
I wish I could tell you. And
I'll Google it.
They brought him in. He's played by a third Mickelson or whatever.
Yeah.
Which Mickelson is it?
Sir, we've located a third Mickelson. It's something Mickelson. Mickey Mickelson.
And I think I already said this on an episode. I can't remember what. Lars Mickelson.
There we go.
He fucking has like Joe Biden energy. Where they're like, meet Thrawn, like the scariest. And he's just like, hello, you should get Ahsoka. I'll see you later. Like, he doesn't do anything.
Well, this is the Filoni thing, right?
He has no energy.
Like, bring a character from an obscure cartoon that he also is behind, and it's just, okay, it's also here. There's a thing that's here.
Look at him pointing. You know, just the way the Filoni shows brought back Hayden Christensen to play Anakin. And he's like, here I am.
Well, the major project of the Filoni shows, of course, is that when Disney buys Lucasfilm, they go, here's the canon of Star Wars. The canon of Star Wars is the 6 movies that have been theatrically released.
Indeed.
And the Clone Wars cartoon show.
Yes.
End of story.
Well, and I think, was Rebels in the works?
Rebels was the first thing started by them.
And a bunch of comic books.
Right. Once those started, they basically said, but like, all previous comics,
prior
novels,
comics and books
video
games,
the Marvel relaunched
aren't, but the prior stuff is now consigned to what they call legends.
Exactly.
And is not canon.
Marvel is now going to start new comic series. This is the start of the new canon. We're going to do new cartoon shows. That is expanding that.
I will just say the Lando series.
Yep.
Very good and gives you a lot of background.
That a comic book?
It is a comic book that does a pretty good job of explaining everything you've ever wanted to know about Lobot.
I would say, I
do have a few questions.
I will say, I think the first 2 years of the Marvel comics were really excellent, and I was reading all of them, and then like everything else, it got overwhelming. There was too much.
It's the exact same thing that happened with the TV.
Yep.
The first season of The Mandalorian rocks.
It's a triumph.
And like, you know, I feel like even those early novels, like the new official novels that were being written in the wider, people were like dialed into.
The first High Republic novel people were all about.
The reason is because they were really making an effort, like to, you know, they were picking talented people and they were right. They were like, we have to make, and then as you say, they, you know, start to lose the thread a little bit. There's too much stuff.
I also think
they get too many wheels spinning.
I think Filoni's major project from the outside has seemed to be, I want to salvage things and bring them back into the canon. It has felt like that is his priority on the work he does.
He's a bit of a keeper of the flame.
What is
the world building?
What is the extended universe stuff that has now been knocked out of canon into Legends that I want to reintroduce? Yeah. So like Thrawn was not on the Clone Wars. They reintroduced Thrawn on Rebels. It was a big deal. Holy shit, Thrawn counts again. And then live action Thrawn in Ahsoka.
Yep.
This feels
there.
The pipeline of what he's been doing for the last 10 years is just, let me pick my people, let me put them in a cartoon, let me make them live action, they count again. Next, repeat. That movie is supposed to be the payoff of all this shit.
Yes.
And then as you are setting up here,
yes,
the movie mysteriously kind of disappears, doesn't really get talked about again, and there's a sudden surprise announcement, Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming 2026, standalone adventure. Does this negate or replace season 4?
There's a whole other aspect.
And they were like, I don't know, maybe we do another season after this, or maybe it would just be other movies.
And then we also have to point out, which I think everybody knows, Andor, which hits and is truly special.
It's a miracle.
And we will talk about it.
Of course. But it just to also say, just to only tie it into what we're saying here, that with this thing that's regarded as phenomenal, that's getting credit with something that I bet drives them nuts, even if this wasn't Star Wars.
How did this even come out of the Star Wars system? Like, a lot of the praise is backhanded.
Yeah, like what?
And you start
how do they
also
pull
hear
the wool
that
over their
you
eyes?
start to hear that there's bitterness about this, and who knows how true it is, but the internet rumblings are that
there's sides.
There's like a Filoni bitterness about the Gilroy of it all.
Yeah, and then
you hear these rumblings.
Filoni has his garden, the Ahsoka
and regards it as his.
Yes. And is kind of left to it.
And has apparently indicated that he's not a huge fan of Andor, which is only the more frustrating for all of us hardcore fans who feel like Andor is the thing that nailed it.
And it's also just the thing that felt different.
It's also, it's good. Entirely different philosophical approaches. Do you want to make things that are exploring the ideas already within Star Wars in new ways? Or do you want to just kind of circle back to what Star Wars has been? You know? And it's a lot of like, you know, can I make movies that feel like the old movies? And Filoni, it's like, can I reintroduce my friends?
Well, and like Filoni, we should acknowledge, is George Lucas's like apprentice.
Yes.
His Padawan learner of sorts.
He was the guy that Lucas entrusted with Clone Wars.
He's the Roy Thomas to his Stan Lee.
Right. He brings him over from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Which we have to talk about. I think it has major implications.
Very briefly talk about.
You brought it up. I was actually, I was trying to be good.
You brought it up. Gethard has dropped his pen and like squirming, his hands on the table.
I don't know much about Filoni. Who I've always heard is like a lovely guy. You know, everyone's always like, he's a sweetie pie. But like, I do feel like he's the last like keeper of the flame of like the Lucas 2000s era of Star Wars.
There is a feeling of, even though George Lucas is still alive, I'd say it's a little bit like Steve Whitmire with the Muppets, where, you know, he was eventually pushed out of playing Kermit. But there was this feeling of Jim chose him and now Jim's gone. We have to all kind of follow what Steve says is right.
Right, because it's like he's still invested with Jim's energy and we don't want to like,
And it's odd when George is still alive, but there is this feeling of like, I don't know, George picked Dave.
Ralph is the most overrated Muppet. I just need to say
his name's Rolf.
I feel like you've said that before.
Respect.
You like to bust that.
Doughboys has been doing a Muppets month. And Weiger loves Rolf, but hates all of the electric mayhem. He has the exact opposite take, which is...
David, do you hate when I'm on this show?
Not at all.
Because the internet always says you do, and today's the first day where I really feel like it might be true.
I do not. I do.
We're having a great time.
I low-key, again, we'll just stress you, Tuesday was very traumatizing for me.
Tuesday was tough.
And I'm feeling a little anxious about the amount of branching things going on. But no, I love having you on the show.
I know I've been... To be fair, I won't do it. I have been threatening to the boys to make this entire episode about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I don't think
it's not happening.
Seen it, right?
No,
have you never seen it?
I've only seen the first 3 episodes for when I auditioned for the Shyamalan movie.
I got to say one thing about it.
Because it's lore, we said back in the day.
You watched it recently.
My son found it. My wife and I both realized separately that we would go in to tell him it was time to turn off the TV and would sit and watch full episodes with him. Yes. And then asked him at the age of then 6, hey, can we, once he finished it, can we go back to the beginning and watch it together again as a family?
Right, like can we actually...
And it's,
it's the best. It's amazing.
I will say it's a 2005 Nickelodeon cartoon.
I think people know what Avatar is.
Incredible. Like, but Griffin doesn't.
I know what it is. I just haven't watched it.
But when you watch it, I kind of always lumped it in. There was a phase there where Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, these things that either were from Japan or inspired by Japanese animation.
Right. When it was on, I was in college and I was a little bit
I was old. I was 25 years old when it came out. But
my sister was the exact right age. She was weirdly into it because it's not her kind of thing.
It's not weird.
She tried to get me into it. And then I got an audition for what was supposed to be Shyamalan's trilogy. To play Sokka?
You were going to play fucking Sokka?
I didn't get the fucking
You
part.
almost played Sokka.
I did not get anywhere
Griffin is
close.
One of the leads of Avatar.
I remind you, they made Sokka like a fucking hunk on the movie, and he's not funny. But
he's kind of a crybaby on the show in a hilarious way. But I just want to say,
but that's I've only ever seen the first first 3 episodes.
I've watched Avatar about, I would say 6 months ago.
Okay.
Instantly really, really fell in love with it.
You've been texting me about it a lot.
And I've been talking a lot about it with people, but
you have the steals.
I of Korra.
Wow.
You're the one who told me Korra's underrated and it's worth the watch.
I stick up.
But David, I don't know if you had the same feeling. I remember watching it with my son.
Yes.
And the reason I want to tie it into today's conversation is that I had this feeling that was maybe slightly heartbreaking for me, but also made me really happy for him, which was, everything I got out of Star Wars, he's getting out of this show.
Oh, like that you're not able to have the Star Wars shared experience with him?
Or that Star Wars isn't meeting him where he lives today.
Yeah,
kids today can just go watch an adventure movie and be like, Star Wars, cool.
Right.
It's all of us who are old and who grew up with it who feel like, why can't they fucking figure out the moral tales again? But since 2005, I legitimately think you could put, I'm not blowing smoke. I don't know if you'd agree with this, David, but I'm like, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Avatar, The Last Airbender are to me the 3 fantasy epics that teach kids morals, right and wrong, good and evil, how to exist in a scary world. Avatar's very layered. So since 2005, kids don't need Star Wars to do that. Avatar has been doing that, for a few generations of kids
fundamentally a good thing. Like it's like there's more options.
But I think it's part of why I think it's part of why I can go to Mandalorian and Grogu and not be angry. Why I can go, because
I don't think Griff or I were angry. We're just that was a bit of a nothing burger.
But it was but we're really doing nothing here. Come on. Like I felt exhausted by it.
I just think that as an adult, when you watch Avatar, and I watched it with a kid, but I do think there's something to be said for like, okay, Star Wars, I'm sadly recognizing that Star Wars used to be something like, for a lot of us, I think a lot of us grew up, and if you weren't that religious, Star Wars kind of gave you what religion gave you.
I hear you,
and we get mad that it's not that anymore. But like, maybe we can let that go.
It does need to change. We do need to let things go. As Kylo Ren said.
Yeah, right. Let the past go.
Like the first one came out
from Last Jedi.
The first one came out a year after the bicentennial and predicted Reaganism and good versus evil. And it was at the same time as the Ramones and this whole idea of like, look backwards while also establishing the future.
You're not going to recreate that.
No, we gotta bring the Ramones back.
Ramones. You think about the cultural moment, A New Hope metacultural moment that ties into looking back at the 50s and moving forward to the 80s. And Star Wars was part of that. And like the heroes we needed then were Luke Skywalker and Rocky, like it gave us these heroes that at the moment.
I don't know if we want to bring back Johnny Ramone right now. I don't know what do you think of our current president. He might be a little too into it.
The most important band of that era was also looking back while reestablishing an exciting future. And like, Star Wars refuses to fucking give that to us anymore. Well, and then when they almost do with Andor, a bunch of people involved in Star Wars publicly, at least they get mad about.
I was going to say,
it's sad. It's sad, but we got to start letting it go if we're ever going to be able to enjoy these movies as anything except a toy factory.
Weirdly, I think, differing opinions, but Last Jedi really, really tried to do that. And instead it launched a culture war rather than becoming part of a conversation of what it was commenting on.
No argument.
Yep.
End of my contributions to the Last Jedi discussion.
Great. And then Andor, I agree with you, is sadly, because of how fucking cyclical humanity is really in conversation with what's going on in the world today.
And inputs into the original trilogy in a way none of this other stuff does.
But it is fascinating to me that now, having finally watched it for the first time, it's the greatest fucking TV show. It's unbelievable. It's an astonishing work.
I have thought too, I think if you watch the 2 seasons of Andor, Rogue One, and the original trilogy, that's the perfect Star Wars experience.
I finished Andor last night, so I have not done the Rogue One rewatch post Andor. I will let you know how that goes. I imagine, because even certainly I care a lot more about, let's say, Cassian Andor.
Yes.
But let's also say a little guy that I know you like, Chris Gethard.
Who's this?
Someone who you've said is maybe the new Kit Fisto of the Star Wars universe.
Oh, if you want to get into a Fisto discussion, we're talking
I have a million things to say, but bring your point.
Saw Gerrera is the current Fisto of Star Wars. Kit Fisto is no longer the Fisto.
Fisto is now the title.
I'm down.
I love Saw Gerrera.
Saw Gerrera,
it's
awesome
funny.
character.
Saw Gerrera is the most intriguing Fisto.
I
love the most intriguing Fisto.
I'm playing ref. Give him the floor.
I really need to talk for a sec.
Yes.
Okay.
David, go.
on Avatar: The Last Airbender. Very good show. Wonderful. I think it's good. I can't wait to watch that with my kid. That'll be great. I also can't wait to watch Star Wars with my kid. I think there's room for all of this.
My kid was unimpressed by Star Wars.
Well, maybe I was going to ask.
Okay, so maybe this is part of your
but you didn't take him to the movie yesterday.
No.
Yeah,
but you're
wasn't
saying
interested.
this is your emotional journey you're on. You're right. You tried to get your kid into Star Wars, or you showed it to him, and he was kind of like, right.
And with Avatar, I saw him getting
he got it organically.
Everything Star Wars gave me when I was his age, Avatar's giving him now. This idea, we live in a layered world. People are put up on your friends.
Okay. All right. Wait. I still need to reply. Okay, so Avatar. I watched that in the pandemic. My wife had already watched it when it was on, so she knew it. And it was one of those pandemic things of like, we got to watch something all the time, right? Like the TV's just got to be on because we're so bored. So I watched all of Avatar, all of Korra, like then. Remember I was watching with election night 2020, Biden, Trump, when Trump tragically, I mean, he won. We all know he won, obviously.
Right, when he was lied to and the public was lied to.
No, like I remember like we were really stressed out election night and like I was like, I'm putting on Avatar. Like we were not going to know anything for a few hours anyway. And I remember us watching it. It's sort of a cherished memory. Love Avatar. Got the steals, Griff.
Love that. Love that.
Haven't re-cracked that, but I have been kind of like, yeah, that'll be perfect for my daughter in like a year or two. Like pretty soon.
And you haven't done Star Wars with your daughter yet, but we have several friends, mutual friends of ours who have kids around your daughter's age.
And they're into it.
Older. We have like a bunch of friends who have all in the run up to Mandalorian been like, is it time to show my kids Star Wars? Who have gone through them and have Star Wars obsessed kids now.
I would say
it's not a thing that's completely bouncing off the entire generation.
And my daughter's pretty interested in Star Wars because the toys are around.
My son
likes what she's seeing.
He likes the toys. He likes the characters.
Kit Fisto, I gave him some Kit Fisto toys.
You did. You gave him a Kit Fisto onesie when he was born.
That's
Thank you
pretty
for
awesome.
that.
And it was also a Coca-Cola onesie. It was soda and Kit Fisto, Gethard's two favorite things.
That is true. Very thoughtful gift.
It's a thoughtful gift.
He likes Boba Fett.
Fizz.
Sure.
But the sense I get from the kids his age is like, I can look back and I didn't know this as a kid, but I'm like, oh, right. I'm going to wind up not being a practicing Catholic, and Star Wars is a little bit more of my moral and ethical code.
Which is great.
They're not getting that out of it.
Yeah.
It's a big ask. It's a big ask where you're like, I need my kid to essentially religiously connect.
Avatar's a little bit closer to
But that's fine. That's a good, at least that's good.
It's
at least
great.
he's not like, I love... I mean, I don't know what the bad version of this is.
Yeah,
like,
he's not out here like watching looks maxing videos.
Exactly.
He's not getting in on that shit. He's not like, Dad, can I eat elk meat and get a jaw reconstruction surgery?
What year do you introduce a kid to clavicular?
I don't know, 12, 13.
Okay.
Just the second they sort of start asking questions about their body, you're like, oh, these are questions can all be answered by Mr. Clavicular.
Someone who has it figured out. Height lying.
Saw Gerrera Kit Fisto.
Or Limax.
It would be awesome if there was a scene in any of the Star Wars movies where someone said to Kit Fisto, like, you come on pretty strong. You know what I mean? Like, because what I love about Saw Gerrera is that even fucking Stellan Skarsgård, you know, even he's like, he's a lot. Like, you know, we need every weapon in our toolbox over here, but my God, is that man tough to deal with?
I fucking love it because it takes Star Wars from rebellions are built on hope and goes, no, they're sold on hope.
Yes.
They're built,
so good about
they're
Andor.
built on fucking lunatics like Stellan Skarsgård and Saw Gerrera.
Skarsgård's name is Lutheran Rael.
Lutheran Rael.
It's Luthen and that's who. They're built on fucking extremist maniacs.
And when you watch
they're
Rogue
sold
One,
by Luke Skywalker and the branding.
You know, when
I was going to say,
when Andor season 2 ended, and I was like, I gotta watch Rogue One right away. You put it on, you're dialed into Cassian, and then there is Jyn Erso,
right?
And you are, after watching Andor, kind of like, I don't care about you or your dad.
This is my exact concern.
But now the movie generally rocks.
Yeah, I like that, and maybe I'm giving them too much credit because I love so much.
And Cassian's like flirting with her, and you're like, you have a baby.
But I do like the idea that all these characters were operating in their own little vacuums to foment this fucking thing, and they barely know each other and putting their lives on the line. And there's this implicit non-trust.
That's the best stuff in that movie.
In a better world,
also,
too.
Andor and Rogue One retroactively make one of Luke Skywalker's lines in A New Hope so sad.
Which one?
I used to bullseye womp.
Have we talked about this before?
I'm not sure.
That's the line.
Wait,
that line becomes so tragically fucking naive, and you realize everyone else in that room must hear that kid say that and go, I hope he's not in my squadron because not only is he dead, he's going to get us fucking killed.
Sure.
Then like the contextualizing of that, that Luke is legit a New Hope. Like optimism was dead.
The thing that's
and he
crazy
brought it back
about Andor is that like, it feels like
I know to see what the Empire did.
It makes original Star Wars even richer because it is not diminishing it by being like, well, that's like silly, frothy, surface level kid shit. It's being like, no, this is like religious myth. These are the sort of like figures that we can prop up as miracles that help sell a belief system and literally
allow society to move on from trauma.
A new hope. Right. And it's like, here's actually the historical account. Yeah. Here's what was happening.
Whereas the book of Boba Fett says, what if this character you've always wanted to see kick ass becomes a low-level, county-level bureaucrat?
So
he
weird.
Effectively becomes a county's sheriff.
Right.
We should also mention, I think everyone knows this, but Dave Filoni is now in charge of Star Wars. He is now the creative head at this moment.
And I like a lot of what he's
Kathleen
done.
Kennedy's stepping down. Yes. I like some of what he's done. Have you watched all of Clone Wars? No, right?
I've watched a lot of it.
Okay.
He was announced as president of Lucasfilm in January 2026. However, Lin-Wyn Brennan, who's a longtime like ILM person, was announced as like co-president.
It's similar to the James Gunn situation where she is sort of the business person and he is the creative person.
Right.
Because there is only one Feige who is seemingly good at doing both of those things. And anytime they've tried to make someone do both, it's been a calamity. And I think part of the worry, if people trying to do an autopsy on the Kathleen Kennedy era, their takeaway was, this is kind of one of the greatest producers in Hollywood history. Not kind of, inarguably one of the greatest producers in Hollywood history. But she worked with incredible creative minds and storytellers. She was never someone generating stories or even developing material as much. And do you need a balance between someone who understands the logistics of production and management and someone who can have the big overarching story view? And in theory, Filoni is now placed to...
Well, he's not, because it's over.
At this moment...
Yes, at this moment.
At the moment we're recording, that is his position.
Right. But like Kathleen Kennedy's obvious eye was for, talent. She had a great eye for talent.
Correct.
And, it paid off for her pretty well with Star Wars.
Until I would argue she started getting the yips.
I think, from what I'm aware... And I guess I have enough goss.
Mostly from the audience.
Last Jedi freaked out Disney, not Kennedy.
Correct.
Kennedy loved it, Iger, etc. We're just like, the fans are yelling too much, so no more of that, whatever that was.
Not only that, that it was like, that was the best production they had. That was the only Star Wars movie that wasn't riddled with reshoots and panic. And she was unbelievably happy with the final result.
Right.
And people like to erase from history. It made so much fucking money.
It was a huge
because it was divisive, people like to be like, and that one disappointed. It did not. In the year 2017, 3 of the 10 highest grossing films in history were Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars movies.
Right.
Force Awakens was number 1 of all time. It still is domestically. Rogue One was in the top 10. Last Jedi was in the top 10. So it was working.
Yes. I mean, one would argue, but then the movies after Last Jedi didn't do as well. It's like, well, yeah, because they were solo.
Immediate problem.
Was a shambles.
Yes.
And episode 9, which people are sort of like, that's J.J. Abrams' fault. It's like, fundamentally what happened with episode 9 was Carrie Fisher died.
Yes.
And they had to completely dynamite what they were doing.
They also had a director that they were losing confidence in.
They fire a director.
Yeah.
They bring in Abrams 2 months before production starts or whatever. Like, so late.
They push it back 4 months when they needed to push it back 2 years.
Right. And Abrams is like, I don't know, I guess Palpatine returns.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just...
Which, many people think, and I don't think this is a baseless conspiracy theory. There's actually a lot of evidence that points towards this, that Palpatine was entirely a reshoot thing.
I mean, it seems impossible. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole, but there's stuff that makes it seem somewhat valid. But yes, it does feel like they started to freak out. We should mention also that the first season of the Mandalorian TV show, a show we all love, or that first season we all love.
2 months before production, by the way. 2 months after. It doesn't matter. Karen.
Whatever.
Yes.
1 month before Rise of Skywalker comes out, Disney Plus launches, and their big launch title is first episode of The Mandalorian.
Right. It was before episode 9 is when Mando started.
By a month.
And in unison, the world says, They put a little baby Yoda in a Pokemon.
I mean, truly.
They stuck a little Yoda in a Pokemon.
We couldn't love this more.
I remember episode 1, which ends with the reveal of him.
Yeah.
I was like, a baby Yoda? I don't know. And by episode like 3, you're like, Baby Yoda's one of my family members. I love Baby Yoda.
A conversation I love Baby Yoda more than anybody. Was
everyone agrees.
They were so mysterious about that show. Can you believe? It's weird. Jon Favreau, the Iron Man guy, he's making a TV show for Disney Plus, but they're saying it's not going to be cheap. It's going to be really expensive. It's going to look like a movie, right?
Yeah.
They got fucking Greg Fraser to shoot the first season.
Sure,
it looks incredible, right?
But they were also like, it's called The Mandalorian. And I remember at the time being like, that's nerd shit.
That's nerd shit.
Like, this is supposed to be like, for the masses.
That feels
Disney
like
Plus's
deep
launch
lore
thing.
shit. And the other part of it was they kept saying there's a twist in the first episode. That's why they're being so secretive. I remember you and I saying, I'm going to be so annoyed if he's Boba Fett.
Right.
And instead, the twist is we've cracked the code. We found fire. This is Grogu. This is like a new element on this earth that is infinitely powerful. And we all were like, fuck, that puppet's pretty good. What is this show? And then the show reveals
Herzog's in it. It's cool. It feels fucking weirdly cool because of that.
Cool, weird energy.
The show reveals itself to be like a Western, a like standalone. He's a bounty hunter. He goes out on a mission. You meet new characters every time.
All we've ever wanted.
And it's like, here's the cleanest new entry point to Star Wars in forever. Anyone can watch this. Actually, it is free of kind of lore shit.
Yes. The only lore is like, it's after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
The Republic kind of exists. The Empire's still kind of, hanging around.
You don't really
need to worry about it. Yeah.
And I just loved, I was like, this is TV. This is not a 13-hour movie. This is, every episode is 30 minutes of an adventure in a different style.
Because I'm just remembering.
That's what I loved.
But they're, when they start being like, let's learn more about the Creed.
Season 2.
Let's meet cartoon characters. Let's hear about the Darksaber.
And that's Filoni being
it's all
too protective of his own continuity.
Yes.
Yup. And the stuff he loves. It's both. It's like, what's the lore that I grew up on and what's the lore that I made in homage to the lore that I grew up on, basically.
I will say in general, I think the Disney Plus stuff gets a real bad rap and I understand all the disappointment and sharing it. I generally think there is something redeeming about most of the shows. I like Obi-Wan and Ahsoka better than average.
I disagree on those two shows.
Those two, I can't really go there with you. I watched them.
I watched them. With Obi-Wan, hugely disappointing to once again waste the potential of Ewan McGregor. It's just
that's the only good thing.
It is just
I think him and Moses Ingram both give good performances, and everything else in the show is bad.
I do think for the first time since his introduction, we get to see why the galaxy was truly scared of Darth Vader, and like I'm not going to be mad at that.
Yeah, no, but it just was sort of like. What was he was like fighting with Inquisitors or whatever?
He's going through small towns, showing up as this cloaked fucking figure in black, and people are fucking dying and getting their fucking
3 of the shows
torn up. Like I've wanted to see that my whole life.
Arguably, all become the exact same thing. This was my big takeaway from grinding tape and watching a lot of these very close together, right? Because I got really turned off by Mando season 2, where I was like, guys, you're doing the exact thing I was praising you for not doing in the first season. Why is every episode reintroducing a character from lore and being like, look, it's Bo-Katan. Here's Bo-Katan's deal. It's Ahsoka. Here's Ahsoka's deal. And then it ends with the deepfake Luke. And I was like, I'm fucking out on this.
The deepfake Luke is indefensible.
You think so?
Indefensible.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
I mean, the deepfake.
They can't give a good performance.
But the idea of Grogu traveling to go train with Luke Skywalker,
you can't do it. Like, do something else.
You can't. That's how I feel.
It looks like this.
That's what they need to be smart enough to realize.
It looks like this,
and it's literally like a robot voice.
And that's where it becomes let's fucking
deepfake Luke.
That becomes like let's just show our dick in public. You know what I mean? Like this is like take our dick out of our pants. Basically, is like. Kind of the effect, like you can't actually follow through on this.
Do you know that they created like a Mark Hamill soundboard? It's not even him giving a voice performance, because the other thing that happens, and the Mando movie has a lot of this, is they become so obsessed with the tech of like we're pushing virtual production and the pipeline and the volume and all this sort of stuff. We have our own proprietary deepfake thing. That rather than just bringing Mark Hamill, an incredible voice actor, into a booth, having him give dramatic line readings, and then putting a digital effect on it to try to make him sound younger, they like study every second of line delivery he's ever given as Luke and put it into a computer and then basically just do like text to speech. So every line reading fucking Luke gives is flat because it's like, Grogu, I will train you now. That bums me out. But more than that, watching all these shows close together, I defend Skeleton Crew and The Acolyte. I think the cardinal sin of both of those shows.
Skeleton Crew got good reviews in general.
Skeleton Crew is good.
Skeleton Crew was like, let's do a Spielberg, let's do like a Spielberg Zemeckis style thing in the world of Star Wars.
So late that people had kind of tapped out and were tired on the whole thing.
I do think the people who
there's an upswing.
I think it was underwatched, but I think the people who watched it appreciated it.
No one was really against it. I just think people kind of shrugged it off.
They shrugged it off because it's also Skeleton Crew, sort of like this movie, is kind of like, we're just kind of doing our own thing over here. We're not really trying to mess with larger Star Wars.
With Skeleton Crew, I genuinely appreciate that it's doing that. Yeah. I think both Skeleton Crew and Acolyte have the exact same core problem, which is they should have been movies. They both have like peak TV issues for me where I'm like, this is a 2-hour story that's now stretched to 5 or 6 hours.
Well, Acolyte I genuinely like.
I like a tremendous amount, but
really?
I do think it would have been better as a movie.
I haven't even watched it.
You should watch it.
Acolyte is one of the... I
watched the first episode.
This probably won't sell you on it.
I heard such bad things that I was like, I guess I won't invest the time.
I think you would find it interesting.
It is one of the only things in Star Wars since, the Disney takeover that one engages with the prequels, which I think is like vital unless we're not about to junk them.
It's the primary mission is to engage with the weird stuff happening between the margins and the prequels textually, not in a lore sense.
Engages with like Jedi rot.
The ideas.
The idea of like what happened that like Yoda's like, I'm not seeing this coming, and then episode 3 ends.
How did the Jedi become this bloated bureaucracy?
Right, and that's
it's got witches.
It's got witches. It does have witches,
and it's got all this like interesting ideas about how witches are related to the Force,
but demonized.
But like they stand kind of in between the dark side.
Or like there's only one way to use the Force.
Right. It's interesting.
It's about the birth of the Sith, and it's also about how fucked up it is that Qui-Gon Jinn just abducts a kid. Like, that's the starting point for the show, clearly, as you watch it and just be like, it's weird. Is this a thing they do all the time?
So fundamentally insane to this day that Qui-Gon's like, I won you in the bet, so I get to take you. And he's like, can my mom come? And he's like, I didn't include your mom in the bet. And I don't want to hear about it again. Get on the spaceship, 8-year-old.
The Acolyte, sorry, Shmee. In a way, I think people get pissed off by it.
I can't go with you. I'm like, why? You are a fucking Jedi. Just take her. What's going to happen? What, Watto needs a 50-year-old woman? Like that badly?
No, he sells her off immediately.
Exactly.
Once he's gone, Anakin's gone.
Mom come? No, why? She wasn't in the bet I made with a bug Jew.
Mom, spaceship's a little heavy. We already have 80 astromech droids.
I can say that. It's just like when you're a kid, you're just kind of like, of course, because when you're a kid, like every story is about like a kid being orphaned or separated from, but then when you're an adult, you're just like, Qui-Gon, just take her.
That is what Acolyte's about. Like, Acolyte is digging so deep into the text of what has been made and stuff that George did and being like, what does that actually say? What is that reflective of, right? And if these movies, the prequels, are about like how the Jedi were taken down by their own arrogance, then like, where does that start? And what was going on big picture? I think it's a really good show. I think it would have been better as a movie. I think the exact same thing with Skeleton Crew. And Obi-Wan was supposed to be...
really should have been
a movie.
Right.
Obi-Wan should have been.
Obi-Wan was supposed to be a movie.
Right.
Obi-Wan, they had hired Stephen Daldry, and they had started building the sets, and it was going to be the next standalone after Solo. And when Solo underperformed, they were like, let's slow our roll and redevelop this for TV. And you can tell. You can tell. It feels so fucking padded. And Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and what Mandalorian becomes are all...
And Boba Fett.
Yeah, but those...
None of them are great, but
don't forget the book.
But I was saying, those three in particular, what kind of blew my mind is that they're all the same fucking show, which is like a stoic character has a younger ward that they're trying to protect while they're looking for one thing, and one mysterious person is chasing them.
It's all Lone Wolf and
They're
Cub.
all that.
Yes.
And just the sliders are slightly different.
We've talked about this.
I've never read the manga. I've seen a couple of the movies.
They are a delight.
I believe it. I mean,
Lone Wolf and Cub is so fun to read.
Animated. Maul Shadow Lord is animated. It's Clone Wars continuation.
Because I was just following along as we were talking through all of the like releases in order.
Yeah.
Maul Shadow Lord? I've never even heard of
that.
That's new, right?
Cool shows that are also animated.
I haven't
like
caught
Bad
up with
Batch.
Right.
And this is a mini series that's following up on Maul. David, sorry, you were about to say. I just had to answer Ben's Maul perplexion.
I forgot about Maul. I feel like they just got into this sort of the Disney, whoever, Lucasfilm, got into this kind of endless trick on themselves of like, well, it can't be a movie. And it's like, well, why can't it be a movie? And the answer could be like, well, because that's too similar, like Obi-Wan, like what we've done something like that already, or we don't want to do a prequel again. Why can't Skeleton Crew be a movie? Oh, it just doesn't feel big enough. Like that's more of a kid thing. So we can't do that. Why can't like Acolyte be a movie? It's too complicated. It's too dark.
The tone and be too weird.
And then
I almost feel like
can be a movie?
And they're like, I don't know.
Right.
I almost feel like that's giving them too much credit. I feel like they go, why should this be a show instead of a movie? And the sad answer to me is because a movie they'll give us $20 once. Well, and a show they'll give us $10 12 times for the year.
There's a little of that, but like if you have a hit movie, you're making ungodly money.
One would think, but they had a streaming service to launch.
They did. But they started to move off of that.
They're trying to unwind this now, and you're seeing it in all the tendrils of Disney where they had been like, please make more stuff for Disney Plus because all the money's going here, and now they're like, how do we train people off of thinking these things are unspecial? And making them think once again that it's worth paying to go out on a Friday night.
Like, I think they just got in their head of like, well, the next movie's got to be something big, right? It's got to be something, we've had a couple flops. Like we kind of need something that's going to set the new tone.
Longer the gap goes on, the more they feel the pressure of, well, now it's got to be even bigger to justify the return of Star Wars movies.
And so they've sort of compromised with like, well, if we have a movie with Ryan Gosling as a starfighter, that'll be good enough. Like, and that's the next movie that's coming out next year, right? You're aware of this.
I'll buy a ticket.
Sure.
We'll all go see it.
But like with Mando and Grogu, it felt like Filoni was like, here's season 4. And Filoni and Favreau, I guess, were like, we've written season 4. I guess we want to do it. And Disney's like, that's going to cost $300 million. It's going to suck. I'm sure the script has so much Thrawn and fucking God knows, dark sabers, right? Yeah. Like, I'm sure it's like heavy on lore because they've said like, we pivoted from season 4 to something that had no lore, right? We made sure the movie was going to be a clean entry point.
Yes.
Favreau said like, we didn't want to do any of the lore. So Disney's clearly like, can you just do a movie? And Filoni's like, sure, can it be a big movie? No. Can it just be a fun movie with Baby Yoda in it?
Yeah.
That's for kids.
It's for kids.
Like it's for basically middle school.
I mean, this movie is flirting with being a PG. It's a PG-13 because it's got enough kind of like gun shit, I guess.
It feels PG.
But it feels kind of PG.
And I
solidly aiming for kid reaction.
Right.
I think what you're saying.
And it just has this, from beginning to end, it's like, yes, sure, the bald guy is in season 3. I guess I forgot about
which
it.
I did not remember even though I had watched it 1 week earlier.
But it's basically just kind of like, all you need to know is the Mandalorian and Grogu go on adventures together. They're going to go on an adventure.
I do feel like fundamentally one of the questions we're circling around is it seems like no one in the Disney era is asking the question of what do people out there need?
No.
Because people used to get something they needed out of Star Wars, and that's why it's a franchise that for 50 years has meant so much to people. Like, one thing that really stood out to me about Mandalorian and Grogu that I think is so insane, and I get it. I get what the world we're living in. I get the blend of visual. No. I mean, like the Star Wars universe is one with creatures and masks and a combination of, always the debate about practical effects versus
digital,
all this stuff. But I go, we are in an era where everyone's relentlessly talking about the loneliness epidemic and how much loneliness is killing us. And we literally have a movie where you only see human eyes for 5 to 6 minutes of a 2 hour and 15-minute movie.
That
like everything is either a mask or digital. Like we're living in a world where everyone's fucking lonely. And I can speak for myself. I'll get weirdly vulnerable this deep into a Star Wars thing where I go, I am literally like a mental health advocate working to get kids less lonely in schools while also struggling deeply with the fact of, I am so relentlessly lonely on a daily basis.
You and I were saying this yesterday, that we are people who, for outside perception, people would be like, you got like a friend base and you're like busy and you're doing stuff. And we're like, You and I are both like
no
burdened with the fundamental loneliness as
literally
a condition.
lonely. Like my birthday is tomorrow and I never have a birthday party, and reached out to friends because I go, a birthday is a reason that people will actually come out, and I need to fucking connect with people.
I forgot that was part of this planning, was to do this the day before your birthday.
This is a birthday present to myself, is to be called crazy by David Sims on mic.
I apologize for calling you crazy. I mean, your notion that the Mandalorian would die and baby Grogu would turn evil at the end of this movie
Sims,
was a little crazy.
All I'll say is this. When it leaks that was proposed,
okay,
we're going to see who is crazy.
Excited for that
I just want to
leak.
say, like, the idea that I watched a 2-hour, 15-minute long movie where I did not look at human eyes is just such a lack of grace of like, what do people need?
Apart from Sigourney, it's like, you're right?
And like,
it's like
his helmet comes off one time and he says, I'm going to kill you to the Hutts, and it goes right back on. And we've seen versions of that in the show before. And it brought me immediately back to fucking Princess Leia in that first movie with the blaster up, looking around the corner, and she's stone-faced and badass. But she's teeny tiny with these big doe eyes, and she's a princess.
It's primal shit.
And you sit here and like, you don't even realize it in the moment, but then you watch it over and over again, and you go, oh, for like a late teenage era princess who's a tiny diminutive person, to have that steely resolve is masking so much fucking pain and fear. And you immediately are sucked in by Carrie Fisher's eyes.
Yeah, totally.
And then now what they give us is a movie where Jeremy Allen White is playing a jacked slug, yelling that he's not like his dad.
I'm not like my dad. I just want to take another look at you.
It's hard being a Hutt sometimes.
You're like,
puts the lotion on its skin.
Like all of the
like, I want to love Baby Yoda, but like, I kind of don't give a. But
he's a cutie.
He does have big eyes.
But
he's the only addressing the eyes complaint.
But he's a puppet doing cute shit, and like, I just kind of need someone in my life to make fucking eye contact with me.
I agree.
And tell me a story that explains to me what's good and what's bad.
Wish you a happy birthday.
And that's what Star Wars used to be.
Yeah, well, right. You are yearning for Star Wars, as you keep coming back to this, is this sort of like moral force, which, like, that's right. That feels kind of long lost, and it's tough for any, franchise to hold that burden or whatever.
Part of the disappointment is that film fans and film nerds like getting vocal on the internet. Comic-Con nerds like getting vocal on the internet. Star Wars is a flashpoint for all of them. Like, another big point of what's going on right now is like, this is a franchise that spoke to us on a deep level for a long time and just swings and misses and asks us to pay them for another shot.
It's like the boomers who made shit like Star Wars, had a sort of a more woo-woo, and I'm speaking positively, right? Like this kind of like post-hippie, these interests, this sort of expansive view of things.
I think there's a larger issue.
They're blending
they had the hippie optimism mixed with the punk cynicism and
it's
cool
like
filmmaking of the era.
Different these days.
I think there's a larger issue, in my opinion.
Is Grogu needs cooking?
Grogu does need cooking, and someone should address this. I've watched in the last couple of months 6 seasons of Star Wars television and a movie for the first time.
I want to formally congratulate you on doing
You thought I wasn't going to get it done.
And we haven't even really started talking about Andor.
I want to try to do something here. I want to try to do something here. Ben, can we,
what's up?
As an exercise?
Ben's eating the cookies.
Do you want to bring
this? Do you want to mention this?
Oh, I'm just hungry. Yeah, I just wanted a snack.
By the way, there's a merch spotlight, including a food spotlight at the end of this episode. I got bags under the table, but Ben's snacking on Grogu Nilla.
Wait, do you guys want some? There's plenty to share here.
So
I do want some.
Blue.
I do want
some.
some.
Ben.
All right, I got you.
Ben, can you stick your tongue out quickly?
Oh, man. That's a blue tongue.
Ben, can you start a counter for 3 minutes? I think I can, and I'm not saying this is all we're talking about it, but I just want to actually run through the entire plot of the movie in under 3 minutes.
Of The Mandalorian and Grogu?
Yes.
Yeah, go right.
Because I was practicing this on the way here.
I think you can honestly do it.
3 almost seems roomy.
Okay, ready?
Start.
Okay, we start with Mandalorian on a bounty hunter mission trying to capture a warlord. He brings him back to Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver's like, cool, I got 2 more missions for you. One is find Rotta the Hutt, Jabba's son, and free him, bring him back to his aunt and uncle. Secondly, here's a mystery warlord. Can you find this guy?
Rotta might help.
He goes to find Rotta. Rotta's like, I don't need to be freed. I like fighting because my dad was bad. And so, but by the way, I know where that warlord is. I can bring you to him. But then Mando gets captured by the same people and he gets caught in the fight with Rotta. They escape. They find the warlord, bring them back to Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver's like, where's Rotta? He's like, Rotta didn't want to be freed. She's like, this sucks because we work closely with the aunt and uncle. Can you go make things good with them? He goes back to the aunt and uncle. They're like, fuck you. They throw him in a pit. He gets scratched. He falls asleep. Grogu, who's been separated from him and was about to go Gremlins 2 Gizmo mode, like Rambo style badass, instead just learns to be alone, meets Stephen McKinley Henderson on a porch. Then Mandalorian wakes up and they have to escape and all their friends come and help them escape. And then Sigourney Weaver's like, thanks for your work. That's the entire movie, right?
And for some reason...
That was 1:14.
Yeah. And for some reason, Sigourney Weaver decides they need to like nuke the Hutt house.
They're already escaping.
At the end of the movie, it's kind of like, I don't know, something's got to blow up.
That was wild.
Fairly
it was a bit of an Eagles in Lord of the Rings moment of like, if you
She's like, hi, and he's like, I'm out of here, and she's like, don't worry about it, let it go. Let's
also
blow
like,
him
jump
up
quickly because the bombs, it's shot already.
I also was like, man, like you didn't even have to kill the Nazgul to get the eagle. Like you could have done that the whole time.
Look, the Eagles in Lord of the Rings is too complicated for this day, I would say.
I was fairly detailed there, was I not?
Pretty. I mean, the only thing you left out was
Scorsese.
Star making turn by Scorsese.
Yeah. But Scorsese is not actually vital to the plot. He's just kind of like Rotta's over there.
But he's an informant who doesn't want to give information, which is funny.
That motherfucker went so hard that character shined.
David
and that character is the other part of the movie.
We were like, I cannot believe how locked in he is.
Yeah,
he's giving this his all, and it has personality and humanity.
Does it speak to something that Martin Scorsese, who has sort of, grumbled about franchise filmmaking, right, in interviews?
Ben prepared all of us a little dish.
Ben's giving me some Mando cookies. It's a lot of cookies. I don't know if I'm going to eat all those. But thank you, Ben.
I got 5 other food items in my bag.
But make a real cool banana pudding with these blue Nilla wafers.
That's true. They call it like
he plays essentially
Nana wafers or something.
Like a guy being paid, to like a shill, in this movie.
I just run a flat meat stand. I don't know anything. Don't ask me about it. I don't know. Maybe.
An incredible impression of Martin Scorsese as that streetcar operator.
Thank you.
Right.
Specifically,
I ate it. It tastes like a Nilla wafer. I guess there's no like blue flavor.
No, but the cognitive dissonance of it not being blue flavor does fuck your brain a little bit.
Well, we should properly name it. It is Grogu Nilla Nummies.
Num.
It says right here on the box, Nummies.
David and I, as he said, are sitting here at the theater. And I want to be clear. We're considerate moviegoers. We're not talking the whole time, but occasionally we turn to each other and whisper one sentence. And I would say about every 20 minutes, one of us would turn to the other and go, is this really all there is? Like we kept being like, there must be some story idea that the trailers were hiding. Not a big twist.
But it's not that I wanted that.
No.
Like, it's not like I wanted the third act of the movie. I was basically like, is this movie going to be what it looks like? Which is just kind of like a disposable.
They got to find one guy, except they find the warlord halfway through. Then you're like,
he's bald.
What is the movie now? You turned to me and said, I actually don't know what the rest of the movie is.
Right. And so then I'm like, right, will the third act be AI Luke and fucking, take your pick, shows
Is there
up.
a bad surprise behind the mystery door?
Grogu shoots some lightning or grows wings or,
you really don't think Dark Grogu would have been a more interesting third act?
No, you really triggered me there because it's the kind of shit I hate the most.
Do you know
we were actually screaming at each other.
I really hate the someone needs to die for a movie.
Can you guys say that you love each other just so we can?
I love you very much, Chris.
Here's my pitch that hit me when we got to that section.
I was like, are they going to do some slop?
Yeah.
And then but they didn't.
No.
But instead it was just kind of like Mando's.
Why did you even make this? What was the idea?
Get away from the Hutts.
What's your pitch?
My pitch
Can I just say one thing to close out that thought?
Please.
And I think this actually is truthful. This does feel like the exact Star Wars movie you would make at a cultural moment where it feels acceptable to people to remove Stephen Colbert and replace it with Byron Allen's comics.
I mean, just kind of a like, let's not hurt anyone's feelings.
A society where it's all like,
we're
looking for something and we're not getting it anymore.
Gethard actually heard you just traveled over here from New Jersey. Anything you want to share about that?
We need to be talking about this Lincoln Tunnel traffic, Byron Allen. We got to be talking the Lincoln, the Holland, the George Washington.
Gethard,
like one of the great comic figures of our lives.
Gethard, that is a brutal comparison.
Yeah.
It is 100% on point. It's not even about inoffensiveness. It's about this sort of like the whole weirdness of Comics Unleashed is you're like, this looks like comedy, but something feels off.
Everything's for sale. Everything's
doing
leasable.
Comedy, but it's in a hollow way, and it's so packaged and strategized, and they're acting like this is organic conversation, but it's neither stand-up nor interview.
And it's getting an 11:30 slot, which used to be sacred to the American
We're treating
people.
this as if it's the legit thing, when this used to air at 4 o'clock in the morning, and this was only watched by people who were struggling.
Yes.
People who should not be
watched
awake.
By drug addicts.
Yes.
Literally, the core demographic was men in hotel rooms debating whether they wanted to live through the night.
Some of the worst nights of my life have been watching Comics Unleashed, and it wasn't because of Comics Unleashed. Comics Unleashed was meeting me where I was at.
You and I both just revealed that we watched that show while having suicidal ideation.
I just also want to shout out to that while we're all talking right now, everyone has a blue tongue.
This is true.
My tongue went blue immediately.
Grogu Nilla wafers talking about killing ourselves.
It went blue immediately.
Nilla Nummies. Nummies? Num-nums?
Nummies. Right. All right.
Thanks for the Nilla Nummies.
Griffin, can you get back to...
This is the third time I flagged my own mental health concerns.
Your pitch. I hope you're doing okay, Chris.
So like minute 30, 40. I love you, Chris.
I love you guys.
You're doing all right, right?
That is a very funny dissonance for us to do that bit while eating these treats.
I gotta say, you're making a little stinker face while you're eating the Nilla Nummies.
We've never stopped talking. We never stopped
snacking.
We
kind of good.
It's the most respectful way to honor the movie is to just keep snacking.
Keep buying the product, baby. We don't give a fuck. Say whatever you want about our movie. You're literally eating our tie-in product while you talk bad about our movie. We're giving you what you want, Disney. We were underwhelmed by the movie, and thank you for the blue Nilla wafers, you fucking corporate fucks.
Minute, like maybe 30, 40 of the movie, they go to get Rotta. Rotta's like, I'm not like my dad. And Din Djarin's like, okay, I guess I'll leave. And then they gas them.
Yeah.
And as he's starting to pass out, he's like, Grogu, run. I'll find you later. And I was like, oh, is the core idea of this movie, because I'm not asking, in going from TV to film, make the movie really big in a all plot threads connect, Thrawn comes in, deepfake Luke kind of way. I'm like, can you tell me a story that could not fit within an episode? Ideally, that's a story of greater emotional range.
Right.
That's what I want, not necessarily even scale that's bigger than the TV show. A lot of this is the murky, uncanny valley of the more that TV has become like movies, does movies feel like TV? And how do we make this distinction? We saw it in IMAX. Weirdly, anytime it went to the IMAX ratio, what is closer to the traditional old school TV ratio,
the box.
It felt more cinematic because it didn't look like Disney Plus, which is now super widescreen. This whole weird backwards thing we're living in, right? All I want is for this movie to be like, we came up with a story that is 2 hours long, that has an emotional through line, that's not an episode, and doesn't feel like a couple episodes smushed together. And when Mandalorian's getting gassed, you're like, they're going to make him do the Djarik fight, which for the listeners who don't know, is the hollow chessboard that Chewie has of the Millennium Falcon, where he plays against C-3PO and then leans back and looks fucking awesome.
Let the Wookiee win.
Let the Wookiee win. We see like the real version of that in this. It's like a pit fight, right? With all the big creatures. And he's like, Grogu, go, I'll find you. And I was like, oh, is the big idea of this movie that they get split up?
Yeah. Right.
That it is Grogu has to fend for himself on his own, and Mandalorian has to deal with the emotions of feeling what that's like. Now, we've already split them up. Season 2 ends with Luke taking him. Mando's really upset, and it's the first major boondoggle in the greater Mandalorian experiment is they resolve that, not in a movie, which would have been a storyline fitting for a movie, or season 3. They resolve that in the second half of Boba Fett, a different show. So then season 3 starts, and it's like, this is resolved. Now I'm training you. And then season 3 becomes basically a Bo-Katan show. As you said, David, it's largely Mandalorians talking about politics in caves.
Right. They're in a cave. So
Many caves.
It's like dark.
Yes.
There's like a big lake with like a a serpent or something that they're like
big fish.
Right. We maybe don't believe that it exists.
It's
and
the
he's like, I
that's
saw
on our shoulders, except we think it's fake.
And they're just like, there's like a lot of like, to what extent should we wear our helmets? And I'm like, guys,
I'm also
shut the fuck up.
I'm watching it and I'm like, this show is barely about the Mandalorian or Grogu at this point.
Right. They all kind of just sound like Emma Thompson, so I can't like tell which one is which.
Right. This movie still makes a big point of like the disgrace of his helmet being off. And I'm like, I thought all of season 3 was litigating the helmet thing and sort of going, maybe we're not that serious about the helmet thing anymore.
I'll chill with the helmet rule.
Truly.
Literally.
To the extent that I was almost like, was this written before season 3? Like, but no, like it was not.
You also have a very famous actor who has infamously not done most of the physical performance for this character across the previous 3 seasons plus Boba Fett.
Credit to him, like his stunt performers are second and third billed.
Single card billing. Like big ups for the transparency on this.
Yeah.
But it is fascinating that this movie is like, we had Pedro Pascal do one sequence.
Right.
We had him do one sequence that starts with a little emotional dialogue and then is one big action set piece. The rest of the movie, I'm like, did he ever meet Sigourney Weaver until the press?
Yeah, right. Definitely not.
But after the Djarik fight, he just immediately reunites with Grogu. And then the movie has them split up and get back together like 2 or 3 times until it finally does the thing where he's asleep because he was scratched by a space slug or whatever. And then there's 20 minutes of him having to fend for himself. And I'm leaning in because I'm like, this is the thing. Grogu is the star. This is the thing they like. And the biggest reason.
This is the exact point where I would actually say, I mean.
It's also puppet stuff, which I like.
One of the things that I was most disappointed though by, I'm like, at least we'll see Grogu finally level up. And instead, I just saw him continue to be able to just lift things.
I cannot deny that they consciously, clearly were like, we're not going to have him level up.
It's also, it's a conceptual fuck up that they have him level up way too fast when he starts training with Luke. And when they start showing him do the Jedi shit, it always looks dumb. I think in your words, he looks like a fucking idiot jumping around. You said that about someone in the prequels, maybe Grievous back in the day.
Said that about many people.
I think so. But it looked silly and they gave him too much power too quickly. And they've already set up this thing of he ages really slowly. When the Mando meets him, he's already hundreds of years old. But he's a baby. So any growth is going to be so slow as to be indistinguishable. And the money is this character needs to stay in this exact form. I agree with you that it feels like dramatically he should say at least one word by the end of this movie.
One thing in the style of Yoda and watch every theater go nuts.
Totally, but they're too terrified of fucking with the magic of whatever the sanctity of this
literally have him say
t-shirts.
Literally have him say, "Dad, wake up, you must," when Mando's passed out, and watch everyone cry their eyes out.
Or nummies.
Could have said nummies. He could have said nummies. He could have said daddy.
Yeah, daddy, I want more nummies.
Daddy nummies.
Have him do one new force power or say one thing.
Yeah.
And satisfy everybody. But that would disrupt the status quo.
If at the Djarik gassing moment.
I don't think I would like that.
Would like what?
Him talking like Yoda. I think that would annoy me.
So he just says daddy. What if he just says daddy at the end?
That would obviously wreck me.
Exactly.
Because I'm a mark for this
money
sort of stuff right now. Yes.
But even that's
not sure I want him talking like Yoda.
Them.
Sure.
I mean, the two major reasons they greenlit
like
this
Yoda
movie.
When he talks, he's a Yoda.
He's a Yoda.
I mean, this is the debate, right? Of like,
he's a Yoda and a Yaddle. All due respect,
right?
Yaddle.
Like it's like we don't know.
They don't call him Baby Yaddle.
That's true.
Did Yaddle talk that way? I know Yaddle eventually made like a cartoon appearance or something, right?
I remember the first season. Yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard played Yaddle. Do you remember the first season?
I mean, that might be true.
It is true. I'm not joking.
Oh my God. Love her. I'm very pro Bryce Dallas.
First season, we all call him Baby Yoda. Disney's like, please call him the child. Don't call him Baby Yoda. His name isn't Baby Yoda. Yeah. And we're like, okay, so his name is the child. And they're like, no, he has a name, but we're not telling you yet. I remember when the Ahsoka episode dropped in season 2, she calls him Grogu, and the internet was like, do we like this? Did they just fuck it up? Is the sanctity, the purity of just little cute thing eats things, we have a name we like for him, ruined? Eventually, everyone comes around to Grogu for a name. This movie refuses to even make a move as strong as his name is Grogu. Yeah. They're like, nothing new about this guy. And part of it is, as they've said, their strategy in this is a movie now is they're like, there is one thing that the current generation has grown up with of kids under 10 as their Star Wars that feels proprietary to them.
It's Baby Yoda.
Even if they don't watch the show, Baby Yoda is just omnipresent culturally.
My son has a Baby Yoda water bottle.
My daughter knew who Baby Yoda was before she knew any other Star Wars
They say Grogu,
That's
they
Baby
like.
Yoda.
By far, my son is by far most familiar with Baby Yoda as a Star Wars thing.
And that's
probably doesn't know much about Yoda.
No.
Right.
It's the second thing, which is the Cars effect. Every Cars movie made less money than the previous one. They made 3 theatrical films and 2 Planes movies, and they all dropped.
Right.
But the merch was insane, and they kept being like, I guess we got to make another movie to keep the merch relevant. And at some point, they're like, do we? Maybe the merch is the thing.
That merch still flies off the shelves.
Totally.
For that.
Right. Maybe we can leave it alone. There hasn't been a Cars movie in almost 10 years, but they're just like, do we got to do it again just to like the brand deposit? And that's some of their math. I don't think they were responding to a false notion of the public is demanding this, but it was a real path of least resistance thing. And also, if our like majority shareholders are freaked out about our lack of action on Star Wars, is the promise, hey, I bet we're going to sell twice as much, 5 times as much Grogu shit in 2026. Is that good enough? And it feels like that's the only justification for this movie. And I feel like if in that scene where he's gassed outside the Djarik scene, they are actually split up for the next hour plus of the movie, and that's what the bulk of it was, that Mando's trying to figure out how to get back to Grogu, and Grogu's trying to fend for himself. That's different than what they've done on the show. And that is a story that I feel like could sustain a slightly longer narrative.
Would give us something.
Right. And
instead what I saw was them get back in a spaceship, just the two of them.
You're so mad that they
But it is.
How about the scene where they just, Mando's like, I need to take a break, and they like go back and they take a break, and then it's like, okay, let's go again. And I'm like, did we just do like a commercial break? Like, isn't this a movie?
There's a scene in this movie where they listen to our episodes with Gethard talking about Star Wars in the past. And I'm like, why are we watching them listen? It's not even a video podcast.
It's just like, it felt like television the whole time. Like
the final moment back in the spaceship.
Yeah.
He lets Grogu push the button.
Yeah. You
and
remember that button I didn't let you push?
You sighed and you went, he gets to push the button now.
Right.
And that to them is their notion of like, look at the character growth.
Because they're like, we planted the seed. In the first act, he was like, don't push the button.
Can I also say one very
elemental storytelling?
I want to say one very nitpicky thing.
Please.
And Griffin, you just rewatched the seasons of the show more recently than me. I also found myself feeling very not into how often Mando uses dog language to tell Grogu what to do.
Yeah, I don't like
telling him heel.
Yes.
The heel thing they think is funny, and it's not funny.
It's like, is he your kid or is he a dog?
It is clearly that. It's bad comedy instinct shit.
Right.
It ended up being funny a couple times, and I think when it used to happen, when it happens earlier, mostly in the first season, the joke is this guy doesn't have bedside manner.
Exactly.
He doesn't know how to deal with a kid.
But at this point, he's made choice after choice that this is his child.
Yeah, no,
right.
And
as a dad, I watch it and I'm like, that's child abuse.
It's just you seem like a dick now.
When parents treat their children the same way they treat their animals, it's because they're bad parents.
Yes.
Obviously, the Mandalorian's supposed to be, whatever, a man of few words, and so on and so forth. But yeah, there's not much of a connection that you can detect because of how muted and flat
but this is
the character
also, the seasons lost their way. I mean, you have the end of season 2 when Luke comes on the ship and takes him.
So right. So season 1 is perfect and is the one that ends with the Taika Waititi robot saving them and everyone, like all the characters they've met
melting
from all the episodes sort of come together, and it just felt like great TV.
Exactly.
Does that also though, Mark? I don't want to say.
No, let me finish before we. Right. Okay. Season. I'm just trying to remember.
Basically ends with him being like, "I'm going to keep the kid."
Yeah, and then season 2 ends with like Giancarlo Esposito wants the Darksaber or something, and then Luke Skywalker shows up to rescue them,
and he takes Grogu and
nerfs
is like,
them all, but then he takes Grogu.
I have to train him, and Mando takes his helmet off and has a tearful goodbye, showing his face to Grogu for the first time. And the emotional growth is he cares more about connecting to this kid than the Creed, and he's showing his emotions. The stoicism wall is over.
And Ahsoka's in season 2, like she drops in somewhere in there and is
she
the one that's like
tries to
his
train him a
name is
little
Grogu.
bit.
Right,
Yes.
okay.
And I guess she's the one who tells Luke to go find him.
And then Book of Boba Fett was in between those 2 seasons.
So like the first half of Book of Boba Fett is Boba Fett being like, do I want to be a sheriff, a mayor?
Right. I'm in charge, I guess.
The fact that he just becomes a sheriff, which is an elected county position. There's never been. You know what's so wild about Boba Fett?
Let's leave Tatooine. Let's go.
And the season ends with him kicking fat Bib Fortuna off a throne and going, I like that chair. Are you taking his position? No, maybe just the chair.
We have
say your thing. Yeah.
I got to say this. On this show, we have created, honestly, at this point, our own language, which is ludicrous. But the idea of a Fisto, as represented by Kit Fisto in the prequels, the character that you see, and you go, I want more of that. And we said today that the current person holding the crown of all Fistos is actually Saw Gerrera,
who is dead
but in the Star Wars universe, even Fisto has been out Fistoed by Saw Gerrera. We've never talked about the fact that the most famous and iconic Fisto is Boba Fett, starting in the Star Wars special.
The original where fans are just like,
the holiday special.
What's the deal with that guy?
All the way
interesting.
And
then Vader says no disintegrations, and you're like, so he's fucked up, huh?
So he's
since
done
that moment, we've been begging them to get him right. We haven't.
He has to be specifically told.
They have mishandled him so much that we've never even addressed that he's the original Fisto.
Right.
But he's actually he's the most mishandled. The attempt to Fisto to give the fans what they want, in an incorrect way with a Fisto, leads to what we have now with Boba Fett, which I would actually argue should now be phrased a swing and a misto. It was a swing and a misto.
It was.
He's the ultimate swing and a misto.
Swing and a misto.
You have a Fisto, which is Fisto himself, the absolute representation of what this should be.
Right.
Tease us with some intrigue and then don't give us too much. Make us watch some deep cut cartoons to find out more.
Yeah.
Right.
Saw Gerrera currently there with, I would say we're probably not the only people. Ben and I clearly kind of begging, like, if you can get fucking Forrest Whitaker to recommit to a prequel about how that asshole came to be, I will put.
But you know, his backstory is great too. I went down a rabbit hole reading all about
his Clone Wars character, right?
That was a cartoon first. The weirdest thing is that Saw Gerrera not looking like Forrest Whitaker, because like that they didn't have that idea yet, but he is in the Clone Wars cartoon
first.
Shit,
and like is a minor character that they decided to recycle for Rogue One. But then obviously Forrest kind of just transformed the character and everyone kind of forgets that now.
That character
it's the rare example of a jump from the cartoons being interesting.
Yeah.
And but done in a very considered way.
And you also have to imagine that you're going to an actor of that caliber who, whatever you tell him to go, says, thank you so much for your input.
Right.
I've got this from here. And you actually shut the fuck up and listen.
Well, I think also Rogue One is crazy where it's like, because like he was going to be in more of it. There's the scene where he like rescues her, and I think there's stuff.
The trailer, he has 2 different haircuts. One of the haircuts never shows up in the film.
Decided to cut of their relationship. Because like in Rogue One, he's a little weird because you only really see him, in the last days of his life.
Yes.
And he's crazy.
Yeah.
And then Andor gives you much more seasoning on him, but it is still basically like you need to understand how this person became such
an
a
anarchist.
Fanatic. Right. Yes.
He's kind of like the weather underground.
Yes.
Right. He's like, we're just going to blow shit up.
He's the dirty work. He's the one who's getting shit done, and they all love to pretend it doesn't have to be that bloody
machine.
Mon Mothma's the least, like she's the most like, we need to win over the people, hearts and minds. We can't just be blowing shit up.
And he's
Luthen's
like
a little closer
he's the
to
IRA
him.
that's like, actually we need to kill fucking Mountbatten.
Yes.
We need to, how about we bomb a boat and kill an ancillary member of the royal family?
We do that, but also I don't care if we're going to kill some civilians, like they're all culpable, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
It's dirty.
And Luthen is more on that side of things, but Luthen has some control, whereas Saw likes to like huff, like, and
but where Saw is the inverse of Vader.
Yeah, well, they kind of do that in Rogue One of like, he kind of
even
sounds
down
like
to
him.
the suit and shit. I mean, I love it though.
And
it's
Luthen's one of the most psychologically fucked up characters in Star Wars.
But what I love about Luthen is he's like, I'm a bullet casing and I'm going to be spent. Like I will be done, and I know I will die.
It's incredible character, incredible.
And I know like that it's in service of something important, and I know that I'm like a sin eater. Like I will do the bad stuff. I know I won't be remembered. That's fine. Like this
he
is my
basically
purpose.
shows up at the end of episode 2 in the first season, I think. And I was watching the first 2 episodes, and I was like, yeah, this is good. But there are a lot of great TV shows that people tell me for years to watch. and I watch them and I'm like, I get this. This is well made, but I don't like TV this much, or that's just
right. And
not
you've been
my
hearing for years from people like me who watched Andor.
You love Star Wars. This is the greatest thing ever.
You don't understand it actually rocks. Like it's not
Where
just
do
good
you think
TV.
it stands up in?
It's the best thing they've ever done apart from the big two. I mean, I don't think that's
big
really
two being Empire
Star Wars and Empire. Right.
Yeah. I basically, I'm inclined to agree with that.
Yeah.
My only regret is that they didn't do 5 seasons.
I think I said previously on the show about Rogue One, and I think if you view Andor and Rogue One as a package deal, I think time will only perhaps elevate them even more.
Possibly.
Yeah, but I also think part of its power is that it's building something underneath the foundation of the original Star Wars. It's in conversation with the original in such a smart way.
It serves it.
It makes it better.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't feel like it's like, messing with it.
I'm saying this as a callback, but also really, there's so much eye contact.
It truly.
There's so much fucking humanity.
And actors making choices in spaces, actual sets.
The idea that like it's not digital, that you go like, oh, sometimes the way a street revolution starts is someone takes a spoon and bangs on a fucking frying pan so you have time to lock your door.
So
that's the most human, real ass shit,
Those first 2 episodes, I'm like, this is well done.
Yeah.
Second episode ends with Skarsgård on a train. I lean in a little bit. I go, Skarsgård on a train. Okay. Third episode starts with him introducing himself to Andor. Like 2 minutes in, I text you guys, Andor's the best shit ever. I get it immediately. I see the whole thing now. Just the entire conception of his character is so perfect and so smart. And then his performance on top of it. And then everything feels like that, where you're just like, oh my God, I'm watching them practice rebellion runs in the mountains of how they're going to infiltrate these things. They're doing their play. Right. This is like the fucking Cuban revolutionaries. Like, it's so smart about like commenting on human history and also the text of Star Wars. And this is a big thing I felt watching all these shows and watching this movie. And you saying, David, like the 70s creatives, more woo-woo and all of this. There's a bigger thing, which is the magic of Star Wars is that George Lucas put basically the entire history of storytelling into one container. He was like, what if you could make Arthurian legend exist with Saturday morning serials and religion and samurai and westerns and all of this shit? And he put it all in a blender. And then he kept pulling from different genres. What if you have an alien kind of mob boss? That's Jabba the Hutt. What if this? What if that? And you kept building and building. And the longer Star Wars goes on, Star Wars starts to become more and more about itself. The prequels, for all of their faults, are not about themselves. They are him saying, like, this is actually what's like the foundation of this world I built. It's about me commenting on the cyclical nature of how, fascism rises and falls and all these sorts of things, the human instincts and structures and governments, and people and power. And the Disney era has had this really uncomfortable relationship with, are we trying to comment on Star Wars? Are we trying to make a new Star Wars for the current audience? Or are we just trying to point backwards for the things that the fans love, minus any of the deeper meaning? I have not watched much Clone Wars, but the people I know who love Clone Wars, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting who said this to me, but someone recently was making the case for why Clone Wars were so good and what the problem with the live action shows, and specifically the Filoni-led ones, have been. And they said this thing that Filoni did that was really smart on Clone Wars, first handful of episodes, rough going. That was the stuff that felt a little more passed down by George. And then Filoni starts to find his own voice. And what he did was he clocked into, George was pulling from so many movies he had watched, so many stories he had read, books he had read and stuff. Filoni just starts watching like Turner Classic Movies and going like, oh, here's like a B noir from the 40s. This is kind of an interesting plot line. Could I transpose this onto Star Wars? And part of Star Wars, to me, the magic is that it's taking a different mode of storytelling or a different genre and finding how to put it into this universe. Andor's doing that. Andor's like, what's the Star Wars version of Battle of Algiers, right?
Totally.
And it rules, and it's in conversation with everything, and it's deeper and more meaningful for that reason. I think Acolyte does that. I think even Skeleton Crew, in a very superficial way, while not being self-burdened with seriousness,
movie or whatever.
It put the Goonies. It put Goonies inside Star Wars. We said that in unison.
We did.
And Mando,
it's right.
Mando, smartly, why the first season works so well is it's like, wow, what if you just did, do Lone Wolf and Cub, do Gunsmoke.
Yeah.
Do like Have Gun Will Travel or
here's
whatever.
Here's the question that I have for you, Griffin, having just watched it though, because we've talked so much about how And again, I'm the one who liked the movie the most, had fun watching it, saw shit I enjoyed and still kind of rolled my eyes. But like part of it feels like, don't change a thing about Grogu. He's our moneymaker.
This is about Star Wars, and beyond that, it's about Grogu. It's like about it's so myopic.
But then we also talk about, you know, from Force Awakens to Last Jedi to the Rise of Skywalker, how they're constantly unwrapping what's been done based on overthinking fan reactions and this and that. How in the world, in an era where it's clear that the creative and corporate culture is leading to so many moments like that, let alone the number of high caliber filmmakers that have been announced and then it's been pissed away. Yeah. How the fuck does Tony Gilroy get 2 seasons of a show on that so clearly meet the moment in the way no other Star Wars is, in which he does a show about regular street level people trying to deal with the encroachment of fascism at an era where the news is so heavily dealing with all over the world, street level protests of people trying to fight back against the idea of no kings, George Floyd, Minneapolis last year. So
I can answer
it's
this
a miracle
very quickly.
How did he pull that miracle off of getting it on?
He pulled it off in the way that most miracles happen in this level of like corporate art, which is like something slipped through the system. There was a mistake and it solved a problem to let him do this. That same deep pandemic Disney investor conference day where they announced 87 projects and these things that used to happen behind closed doors were suddenly live streamed. And none of us had stuff to watch. So many people were watching it and it was being reported on. They announced these movies that didn't happen and they announced like 8 TV shows and half of them never manifested. There was some new droid show that never happened. There's the Gina Carano show that never happened. There's the Lando show that never happened.
Oh boy.
And Andor is part of that lineup. Andor was, of the things they announced that hadn't actually like been going, and Ahsoka was part of that as well. Andor was kind of highest priority. They have Diego Luna on a contract. They're trying to negotiate his holds. He's a busy actor. They're like spending money to keep him available to do a show.
Right.
They hire writers quickly. They start developing it. They put months of work and money into it. Yeah. I think there's some amount of pre-production.
Well, Jared Bush. It was Jared Bush's show.
And it was also Stephen Schiff, who had come off of The Americans. There were a couple different teams.
No, but Jared Bush develops the show. The Zootopia guy. He writes a pilot.
Behind Zootopia?
That's the original.
Yes, he writes a pilot. He writes a Bible.
So it wasn't Gilroy at first?
No, not at all. Then Schiff is hired as the showrunner.
Yes.
And then Gilroy joins in a little later. And that is how this all happens.
It's what happened with Rogue One, where they,
where he's like, I have a few notes, and then it's like he seems to have just kind of taken over, and in a good way. Like
my understanding is, Rogue One, they said like the movie has problems. Can you come in and fix it? And he was like an assassin, and they credit him with solving a lot of the issues, even though it cost a lot of money and was a lot of panic late in the day. And so they're like working on this, and they're like, the Zootopia guy, Stephen Schiff, who's coming off The Americans. Oh, let's hire a spy show guy. None of this is working. And they're like, can Gilroy come in and give us the 3 fixes?
Right.
And he sort of says like, I think you sort of don't have anything. And Kathleen Kennedy challenges him and says like, okay, if you could do anything, what would you do? And he goes, let me think on it. And he comes in and pitches it. And basically there was enough money sunk into it that it was prudent to do something with it.
Yeah.
And then I think they got excited by it.
Yeah.
And they were like, let's fucking support this. But he never could have pitched that from the get-go.
I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think so.
And it doesn't seem like there's any part of them that's going to look at, I don't know about the actual subscribers, but the critical praise and the fan, like
it matters.
Well, they listen to the negative fan love to the point where they have,
I think that
Abrams unwrapping giants as movies, but they don't listen to the positive fan love to go like, what's our next political star?
But how do you replicate Andor? They're like, that's like,
well, Saw Gerrera.
Well, people,
the Book of Saw.
Hell yeah. Buzz, motherfucker.
Gerrera from the Book of Saw.
Like it's like this weird series of accidents that led to this thing. It cost a fortune. They don't want to do that. Partly it's COVID, partly it's streaming TV,
But also Gilroy was like, if we're doing this, it has to look real. Right. We need like bodies in places.
They set it in like real places.
Yeah.
But
Mando was shot entirely in LA.
Which they keep saying And people have been making fun of Favreau for trotting that out. And obviously it's like Favreau is saying...
He's doing right by the industry.
Exactly. He is saying that in Hollywood, where a crowd understands like that matters right now. And I think that's fine that he's doing that.
As a human being, it's a great move.
But some people are kind of pointing out like, hey man, Star Wars is kind of defined by like going to a really crazy place. Like Tunisia or whatever. Or even Australia or, where...
The Arctic Circle. Like,
and George's like getting backyard. Some cool landscapes, and instead, like you're having a conversation with Rotta the Hutt in what's clearly like nothing,
right? No, but credit to Favreau, like the unions, and, and the out of work people in the industry.
What he's saying is, I didn't shoot this in fucking Bulgaria, guys.
Right, right. That's what he's saying. They weren't going to shoot this in real places anyway. Favreau has basically become a guy who seemingly doesn't like fresh air or daylight anymore, right? Like, you're right. It was a binary. It was either they go to Eastern Europe or they shoot this in stages in America, but it was going to be shot on stages. Yeah. That in and of itself is not a death knell, but it's like every decision on this movie is a version of that. And there's even a story, there's a Vulture article that came out yesterday at the time we're recording this about like...
the clown scene in LA. I read that.
No one's talking about it. Everyone's normal about that piece.
Did you read it?
Yeah.
I was just jumping in to make a joke.
No. It was funny.
Anyway, you're the Vulture piece. You were saying.
It was asking the question of why is this the thing that they made? What was the strategy here? Is it going to work? It's not opening well, right? The reviews have been bad. Everyone's kind of shrugging about it. And they call out this movie was very cheap to make, especially for Star Wars. It cost $175 million. LA was so grateful to get production entirely there. They gave a $25 million rebate. It cost less than $150, which for Star Wars is nuts. I know it's an insane amount of money. It's nuts. It's money that was spent to put a lot of people to work and create jobs and fucking whatever. But they also have this anecdote that two friends texted us yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's the review right there. And they go, Disney just trusted Favreau because he's like a smart, steady hand. He launched the Marvel universe.
Right, he launched Marvel. He kind of launched live action Disney in a way.
He doesn't stress out. He gets things done. He works fast. He works quick. He's such a multitasker that one day when they were filming easy interior shots of Mando and Grogu in the cockpit, he also spent his time grilling up 500 grilled cheeses on a griddle for the cast and crew. And I'm like, this feels like a movie made by a guy who's also making sandwiches at the same time.
Chef callback.
There are TV shows that feel like, we joke, this is a show you're supposed to watch while you're folding laundry. This is a movie made by someone who's in the act of folding laundry. And it's like, it's the whole thing there where you're like, it's great that he brought production back to LA. That's nice that he made sandwiches for everybody. I don't know, maybe the scenes in the cockpit should be better.
I would not be shocked if this movie outpaces the financial projections that the reviews are dismal about, because people are going to bring their kids to it.
The Thursday numbers, which is not a kid thing, right? Obviously, the kids will come in the weekend matinee, the
existence
afternoon.
Of just wait to watch it on streaming is now also...
It's also a problem.
Yeah.
But the Thursday previews, when you went to see it, are lower than what Solo did. And Solo opened on this exact same Memorial Day weekend and made $100 million for the 4-day and like 80 for the 3-day. And this is looking to make less than 80 for the 3-day. So it's coming in below the low watermark.
It's coming in at Solo or worse.
Yeah.
It could, because it's a family movie, you could see some improvement. It's kind of like a rainy weekend.
Yeah.
That's sort of good and bad, like that can help drive people to theaters.
But their triumph would be, we did the exact same number as Solo. The idea of them doing demonstrably better than Solo is basically out of the question.
But also, when they make a bunch of money from all the toys and the nummies,
they're fine.
100%. They're fine. And it's cheap.
It wasn't that expensive a movie.
They shot Solo 2 times. Solo cost like $400 million.
Sure.
They're going to be fine on this, but like, what's the long-term gain of it's fine? When Star Wars is kind of in crisis and Andor is starting to feel like an aberration.
Yeah. And like, I guess Filoni's hope is next year we have this other movie comes out. Mm-hmm. It'll work and it'll do well.
Yeah.
And my skin is saved.
Yes.
But if I'm in charge of Disney, and I'm seeing this go over so poorly. This is going over poorly.
It's going over poorly.
It got bad reviews and it's not doing well financially.
Blank Check's barely even talking about the movie itself.
Right, Blank Check's mostly just talking about Nilla wafers and Avatar: The Last Airbender.
They're saying it's a good episode. I can't tell if people are going to be upset that we're not talking about the plot, but I did do that 3-minute challenge thing and that was 114.
our editor's struggling a little bit with the screaming, but we'll make it work.
I didn't even think about that. Thank you, Alan Smith.
Cut that part out.
No, we can keep it in triplet.
Nope.
Appa's Last Day is the best. Appa's Lost Days. That's the best stretch of Avatar.
That's very good. I mean, I love all the Ba Sing Se stuff a lot. I think that stuff's really, really special for kids, especially like teaching them about totalitarianism and about like
displacement and refugees and all this stuff in a Nickelodeon cartoon.
Yeah, no, I need to watch it. I don't question it for a second.
You will love it.
It took me years to watch
Mandalorian and Cascu.
Oh, sure.
So I sent a text to you. Oh,
but I was just saying, like, sorry, I just finished with it. Is Filoni fired? Right? Like, is there a world where someone above at Disney is like, Star Wars needs a very strong hand at the till now. Star Wars is a little lost.
Yeah.
We need to do the James Gunn thing that DC did. We need to bring in a respected creative force. I have no idea if they do or don't. I don't know. But like, if I'm in charge of Disney right now, Kathleen Kennedy has gone out into that good night. And Filoni with his cowboy hat. He's in this movie. He's wearing a stupid hat.
Trapper Wolf.
God bless him.
Do you think Waititi's performance at that robot is when he said, "I'm the shit and I won't take notes anymore"?
I think so.
I think it's all part of it. I think a lot of things contributed to Taika Waititi.
And he was really feeling himself girdling sandwiches.
I was so wrong about. I thought that Thor movie was going to do the God Butcher stuff.
That's one of the funniest runs you've ever gone on.
A lot of your fans are making fun of me, but I would say, if you read the comics...
No, you're right about this.
He betrayed it to have his own character make jokes.
Yes.
He betrayed everything amazing about the storyline so he could keep coming back to life and personally making jokes.
Thor Love and Thunder, which... Did you ever catch up with that?
I still have not seen it. It is the only MCU movie I haven't seen.
I haven't seen Iron Man 3, obviously.
It's so good.
One of the best ones.
I regret to inform you, it has one flaw, but otherwise, it is maybe our favorite Marvel movie.
It's the one flaw that I was cut from the film.
Correct. Obviously, it's the only thing that could have improved it.
I acted opposite Don Cheadle, and it got hit the cutting room floor.
Great actor.
Fortunately, he could not overcome the massive deficit I brought.
Oh, shush.
No.
Thor Love and Thunder is one of those things where I'm like, that kind of slipped under a bit of a sort of post-COVID radar.
It doesn't get enough
liked
shit.
It, but I think it actually does not get enough shit, how fucking bad it is.
Well, and if you're dealing with that level of riffing that's freaking sublime, then the source material goes out the window. The riffing was freaking sublime. The riffing was freaking.
What did you want to say, Ben, about the Mandalorian Poscu?
Excuse me, the Podalorian and Cascu.
I sent you a text.
Can you just
right now?
Yeah, look at
take a quick look.
The great Pat Reynolds, our longtime Photoshop artist, titled this episode "The Podalorian and Cascu." We give him no.
Oh, I don't want to make you here. I'll just show you the picture.
Yeah,
wait, I know. I found it. I found my phone.
Okay, because I do think there's some powerful stuff going on here. He doesn't. We rarely even give him notes.
Sure.
But he usually drops the thing like a day or two before it needs to post, and we just trust the process. He sent this photo yesterday, and it did have us reeling.
I even showed it to my wife, and I don't show her every, Photoshop that crosses my desk.
And was she smiling?
She was laughing.
I like that you came to Cascu's defense because Marie...
Yeah, they were
God
all like, "Oh, cursed," and I'm like, "Cursed with awesomeness."
This is good. We've really landed on something, and in fact, maybe Blank Check's first movie is the podcast Lorian and Cascu, because I think we could sell a lot of Cascu merch.
I think so.
I mean, look, I know we're being critical of this movie, but we can do it right? If we sold Cascu cookies and shit.
Yeah.
Are you looking at this, Geth?
This is really strange.
It's kind of an achievement.
I wish I wasn't in the room with you.
You wish you weren't in the room. Are you saying you want to be photoshopped in? Do you want to be Zeb Aurelius?
I mean, I did think maybe I would be in there, but that's okay.
Do you want to be Zeb or Rotta?
Me as Rotta.
So I think Rotta's the right
pick.
Geth is
Rotta and you're Zeb Aurelius.
There's
you remember Zeb,
I'm
our dear
email
friend?
Pat right now and let him know.
Griff,
yeah.
Until this second, I forgot about Zeb.
Yep.
And they told you not to forget about Zeb, obviously.
Eminem said that.
Yeah, right. But so Zeb, who's in Star Wars Rebels,
yes,
who's like,
which I love. Rebels is a show I actually watched.
Love is too strong, but I watched most of it. I felt it somewhat disappeared up its own ass eventually, but I enjoyed it.
David, the exact same relationship. I don't remember if it was 3 or 4 seasons in total. I loved the first season of that show, much like Mandalorian.
Yeah.
At season 2, I was like, I still like this. Season 3, I'm like, it's getting really into tying back to Clone Wars shit. And then I never finished the show. But
the end is not good.
The start.
Did you love in Ahsoka where all those characters are flesh and blood now, and they deliver lines like this? We have to go get the guy.
I liked it fine.
Yeah,
I also just I like Rosario Dawson.
I do too.
So much.
I think she's a good actor.
I'll watch her be pensive and exist in this.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I love.
Rosario Dawson existing in a liminal space where she rejected Jediism but can never be human again. Like,
basically
I'll watch
taking a nap for 4 episodes of that season.
You guys are so harsh.
I'm not harsh. I watched all of that TV show. It was a lot of hours I put into it. It was very low energy. It was very, very low energy.
But her face is lit up by the lightsaber.
I was watching
it. And it's a white lightsaber. That's cool.
It's a white lightsaber. I was watching it and I was like, what is this acting style? Why are they like this? What does this remind me of? And then I cracked it. I went, this is children doing Shakespeare. This is when you see a high school production of Shakespeare and it's like no one knows what they're saying, but they know that it's supposed to be performed seriously. And so you just make an acting choice that is serious.
I liked Ahsoka fine.
And I'm watching actors
Obi-Wan fine.
I like just be so juiceless.
Quite juiceless.
Can I share my joke with Chris?
Oh, yeah, it's time. I've heard that there's a joke.
I struggled to watch Ahsoka. I was really struggling, and I made this commitment to, I'm going to watch all the shows before this episode. And Ben was a real friend, and he helped me.
Well, because in a little more context, we're...
just say the joke first and then give the context. I think this is the way to do it.
Fine.
Okay, well, whatever.
So Griffin's struggling. I say, do you want me to come inside and jump on the bed while you're soaking?
Got it. No context needed.
Okay, so the context is we workshopped this joke a lot.
Yeah.
It's been in the works for like 2 months.
I pitched it. I mean, I said it in real time when we were on our trip.
We were drunk in the back of a car, and you said, "Is a soaking anything? Is there a way to make that mean something?"
Yeah, that's when the Mormons they jiggle the bed to because they can't move, but maybe someone else can move them.
You can insert.
But you can't, when you say
you
can insert, it's like, I think already some rules are maybe being bent here.
Is they insert. And then they go, well, I'm not thrusting. And then someone else jumps on the bag like a bunch of monkeys.
Jury Duty did
they did.
Famous joke about
yes. So Ben was joking that I was holding my finger over the play button, but I didn't want to press it. And then he started jumping on the bed.
Soaking.
And that's a soaking.
So Zeb.
Yes. Zeb. No, I like all... Rebels, I think every character is well conceived and fun. And the way they've translated to live action, all of them have become so boring and sad. And Zeb's thing is basically, he's based off of like the original Ralph McQuarrie Chewbacca design, which is fun.
Chewbacca, right.
Right. Which most of Rebels is original McQuarrie designs back to the drawing board. I like that. His character is basically like, what if the pilot is kind of like a big kind of monkey bear alien who's almost got like a football hooligan vibe, right? He's like a bit of a tough guy, kinda, but he's funny and he'll give you shit, whatever. This shows up. They just act like everyone's going to be cheering that he's back. He's from a TV show that's now over 10 years old. They brought him in for one scene, basically a like blink and you miss it cameo in one episode of Mandalorian season 3, where he never interacts with Mandalorian or Grogu. And now he's just like their friend who pilots their ship, even though Mando famously loves piloting ships.
Is a pilot, skilled.
And they don't do any work to introduce him. They don't do anything to make you like this guy. He no longer has the traits that made him likable in his previous show.
Yeah.
And they just act like we're all like, thank fucking God Zeb is here.
And he's just,
there and he disappears and he reappears twice.
Well, and like Grogu pushes the button.
Twice you think he's gone from the movie. And then he's like, oh, Zeb's back.
I do have a follow-up question for something you said, David, and it ties into this, which I think you said, like, is there a chance Filoni gets fired?
Yeah. Or maybe fired might be too strong, but like exactly pushed again over to the side of like, you know what? You can be in charge of cartoon.
But I think one of the things that seems clear about him, and I don't know him, is that it seems like his greatest strength and his greatest weakness is that he really, really cares on a granular, detailed level about the things he cares about.
This is true.
And that's what made so much of his early stuff feel so great and connected.
Right.
And is why we're all sitting around like, who the fuck is Zeb? Like, that's clearly it's good and bad. My question is, if someone is brought in to share that load or to become the Feige of Star Wars that he is maybe proving not to be, fundamentally, is that better if it's someone who really loves Star Wars or someone who doesn't give a fuck about Star Wars?
You know who doesn't give that much of a fuck about Star Wars?
Who's that?
Tony Gilroy.
Could you hand the whole thing to Gilroy? Would Disney ever?
No, and he wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it now. Right.
Because it is, right. The challenge is it's like James Gunn was, I guess, down for it, but it's like, right, do you want that job? It's like kind of this weird executive managerial job.
You always need someone that's like, I just want good stories.
Totally.
And then the Star Wars stuff will come in.
Or at least a 50-50 split, versus Filoni's interests feel 90% maintaining the tenets of Star Wars in a very kind of like literal way. You say, do they bring someone else in? Do they push him aside? The question is beyond who would even want to do that, because it feels like such a poison chalice and the fandom has become so impossible to please. I feel like the fandom speaks as if they're monolithic, even though it's like a shattered, like 40-part fandom with different feelings. It's like modern Christianity that's like a bunch of different sects, and then they're speaking as a monolith. And then Disney reacts to them like they're also a monolith. So you're never actually making something that pleases everyone, and everyone's like, no, Star Wars is for me, and why are you not making the thing that I want? Which is a struggle. I'm not against the idea of this being a movie that's just for kids to get the new generation in. And if kids are loving this, I'm happy. The screening we went to, our buddy Matt Singer brought his daughter, who I believe has not watched the show.
Sure.
I don't know if she's ever seen the original Star Wars movies.
She's seen some Star Wars,
but
I'm not
she's
sure.
Certainly not specifically a big Star Wars fan. And
You said you brought her to the press screening?
Matt Singer brought his daughter.
Oh, got it.
And he was...
I thought you did have a blast.
I did not. He brought his daughter, who I think is 9, and was just kind of like, I want to see that movie because I like Baby Yoda. And he said that she enjoyed it. But she also enjoyed like her green colored Sprite as much as she enjoyed the movie. And it was just sort of the general celebration of Grogu was enough. I'm not going to be like cynical of that. I like anything that like makes people happy that isn't aggressively harmful to society.
We will all be dead sooner than those children.
Totally.
They need those children spending their money when they are in the workforce.
Yes. But I question, is there even an obvious or semi-obvious person to point to of should that person take over Star Wars? Because when people were angry about the movies 4 years ago, everyone would have said, probably makes sense to hand it to Favreau.
Sure.
And if not Favreau, Filoni's the bad fan choice. And now both of these guys have kind of like stepped in it.
Well, but I mean, I personally would never have wanted Filoni to be in charge of Star Wars. Favreau, I could have seen that happening.
Yeah.
He's more got that kind of like vague exec kind of status.
Now I would rather see him be in charge of a Cubano truck, for example, because it feels like that's what really makes him happy.
Cubanos.
It's so funny that he made one great giant franchise movie that was a mess, then made his self-referential, I'm struggling working within these corporate demands. I just want to be doing my little thing, food truck. Got that out of his system, has become the ultimate like studio hired hand guy. Has become the like, I figured out how to take all difficulty out of the filmmaking process and I will do nothing controversial.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
And I just also want to say, I think you guys would agree.
Yeah.
I think I've put the bad boy of blank check bit on hold for this episode. I think we've had a thoughtful discussion with a lot of good points.
I think your blank check's good, boy.
Some passion along the way that maybe led to some early moments of contentiousness, but I think all in the spirit of the debate.
Yeah, it's an emotional arc.
And I think that you and anyone listening can hear that we are, I believe, 2 hours in, and I'm only bringing this up for the first time now. And I want 17. You to know, I hope that that's a reflection that I'm asking this genuinely and not trying to force any past divisiveness back into the spotlight for real.
Sure.
When I watched Andor, and I watched Rogue One, I mentioned before that I did have that. It's not that much harder than shooting womp rats in the T-14 back home. And you go, oh, Luke was so fucking naive, so innocent. And it actually, like, A New Hope is obviously, you kind of know this, but it just underlines he's hope.
Yeah,
he's a farm boy who represents this idea. Like, not only does he step up in the face of people like who know the history of Cassian Andor, killing someone who's like, you're on my team, but you're making too much fucking noise. Blow, you're dead.
But also, he's a vessel. He's an idea to believe in. He is blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy with optimism.
How? And I don't.
Oh boy.
You see where I'm going?
I know.
I just want you to say it.
How do we, like, I sink my teeth into that, Luke, and it actually gets me choked up thinking about the beauty of, like, oh, right, there is no revolution in real life that can lose sight of hope and optimism. And Luke is the reminder of that in this universe that we love.
But I think the other thing that Star Wars is about is that history repeats itself.
But when we get to The Last Jedi and Luke himself is cynical, that's not even slightly heartbreaking?
No.
It is heartbreaking, but that's the point. That's what it's using. That's the story engine, is that it's heartbreaking.
I just don't have this relationship with Luke that you do. I just don't at all.
Why do you like Star Wars?
Luke to be
Han Solo, you see that motherfucker?
Why are you yelling at me?
Because you're like, why do I like Star Wars?
I'm being
like Luke, all right.
I'm being so gentle about even bringing it up because I think it's a valid question in light of Andor.
I'm trying to respond. It's just like, it's just not what I feel about. I just don't care about Luke in that way.
I care about Luke, but I think it's more interesting to have these things tested.
It's also just so funny to me.
It's the same as Yoda.
Forever and ever. And everyone's like, I can't believe Rian Johnson did that. And I'm like, episode 7 begins with he has vanished.
That's the exquisite corpse he was handed.
And number 2, George Lucas's entire plan for his sequel trilogy was the exact
same thing. It was going to be more Will's focus, but it was going to be
heavier on Will's.
Luke on his own island.
I really am not trying to have a fight.
Yeah.
I'm really not trying to poke a beehive again. I'm not doing a bit. I just will say the dismal nature of Andor building up to the dismal ending of Rogue One, linking right to Vader on the ship and throwing you into Luke's story.
Right.
With the new context of like, this world is fucking falling apart. This kid's aunt and uncle got killed. He's leaving this world and he somehow still fucking believes that like he has the fucking idiocy, the audacity, if not idiocy, to think he can actually blow up the Death Star, but then he does it.
Because it's like, page 20 knowledge. He's a young man. He hasn't experienced anything.
All I'm trying to put on record is that that's the Luke I love. And I'm just leaving it at that. I'm not trying to have a fight about it. That's the Luke I love.
Sometimes you love your dad and then he gets old and he's like racist and you're like, how's this the same guy? Not speaking of my own father.
But they don't make a movie. But the credits can roll before your dad gets racist. That's why it's fiction.
But then you're questioning the entire enterprise of making these movies.
And again, which ties into, do we need more Star Wars?
No, but here's my thing. Okay, but here's the thing. We're going to have more Star Wars. Because
it's happening.
I'm not, no matter what. I'm really, you guys can feel it. I'm being a good boy.
All
having a civil conversation.
Died with episode 9.
Yes.
Any chance to sort of properly resolve whatever you felt about the Luke story or any of the other sequels died with episode 9, which had no story.
They whiffed in a way that pissed off both sides.
Right. Because in episode
everyone
9
was unhappy other than Chris Gethard, blank checks.
If episode 9,
the ocean fight looked cool.
Some things
looks all right.
If
episode 9 had successfully kind of given you a satisfying conclusion to the stories of Rey and Finn and Kylo Ren and maybe Poe, but like those big 3.
Oh, Poe.
I like Poe.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if it had given them satisfying endings, then you would have been like,
string him to a tree and chop his head off.
Hey, come on. Come on.
Sorry, David. Sorry.
Like, please.
Get it.
No. That's so bad.
I just run out
You're
of energy,
smart, and I respect you. You're smart, and I respect you. Please.
Dudes, I'm so out of energy.
And
I just like, it's too late. It's gone, guys.
We're begging
you
for
cut
it.
me off so many
We're making
times.
a joke about chopping Poe's head off. I'm sorry.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not mad, but I get cut off so much that my brain can't fire anymore. I don't remember what I'm trying to say.
You were saying if it had given satisfying endings to the main characters,
then the Luke and Leia and Han stories in the sequels might not hurt your feelings as much.
They might be a fun debate then instead of a
It would be like Luke did that and had all that in service of what happened to Kylo, which made sense, and Rey, which made sense. And instead it was like Rey decides to be a Skywalker because she thinks that's nice. Kylo died. He was all right the last 20 minutes there.
It is ultimately a silly
Poe. Where does Poe end it? I don't know.
He's sighing and rolling his eyes. Could Palpatine return?
No, but I mean, like after that, is he around? He's around. He blows up the Empire or whatever.
In that, like,
and Finn, I guess, like maybe meets his sister or his friend or something.
No, she wasn't his sister, and she's not
girl.
Lando's daughter, but she's
but she's like, I don't know, she's like him or something.
Yeah, because she also was a stormtrooper or
but
something.
Maybe they have force powers. We'll deal with it later. And it's just kind of like the movie just kind of ends with like, I don't know. Everyone's all right.
Can we talk
Sorry.
the other elephant in the room?
It's like, it is tough to be like, oh, right. It could be an interesting debate, but like, we
blew it.
We fundamentally don't trust that anyone's at the wheel of this entire thing anymore.
And Luke's in episode 9, right?
Yes.
Like he's like,
and Han Solo. They bring both of them back as Force ghosts.
Han Solo, I remember because that moment is fine because he doesn't even speak. But Luke has
he talks.
What does he say? He's like,
"Shit, son, I'm sorry."
But Luke has like the scene, like Ghost Luke sits with Ghost Yoda, and they're like,
log.
"Hey, Rey Skywalker, I like the sound of that."
Yeah.
Drink Schlitz. Like what I just Schlitz. It's just like if there had been, then maybe you wouldn't be so mad. Or
I'm not mad.
Or mournful.
I'm not mad.
Or whatever your emotion is about the sort of the later arc of Luke that they blew.
It's I don't even care to relitigate it. I'm sorry that it got any of us this upset. Star
Wars is touching.
I just really think Andor underlines the naivete of Luke in a way that I think it really underlines what I always liked about the character.
I agree, but that's the naivete of a young man and also a white man who's not being challenged in the same way that Andor is. I mean, that's part of what Andor is about.
It's kind of a nice fun part of the juice of Andor.
Totally. And even down to
not
him
in a over the top way.
No,
not
but he is like coded as immigrant within the universe of the movie.
He's never going to be the poster boy. He's hidden in the shadows.
Can't be the poster boy.
No,
it's cool.
What I would equate it to, Geth, is part of the enduring power of Jesus as an idea for people to believe in.
We're talking about
that
Jesus now.
He died very young, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a pure symbol.
Kind of have to die to.
And there's also the promise of he's going to come back someday. But if he never comes back, we can all project how helpful he would be today. And I think there was a similar thing because you make this trilogy. It ends with Luke settling the universe, right? And now he's become the Jedi Master. And then George Lucas is like, I'm stepping away. And by the way, if I were to do more, they'd be prequels. It just takes Luke off the board where we all have our headcanons of how great Luke could be, right? And then he does the prequels and people are disappointed. And then they come back.
I will say not another word about it. I'm just putting on record. Andor made me like the Luke I met when I was young.
Totally. But that guy can't live forever.
Sure.
Like life experiences are going to change him and test him.
I mean, the thing that sucks, and then we should just, of course, return to, we should be done soon.
Let's talk a little
There's
Rotta.
some toys we need to.
A little Rotta.
A little bit of Rotta. But it's just like, that was your shot with Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher.
That's the thing they absolutely fucked up is never putting the three of them in the same frame while they had the chance. And that's a JJ fuck up.
It's a bit of a JJ fuck up. And it's just kind of a like, you had all those guys. They all look great in Force Awakens. Yes. It's like, the energy could be there.
Carrie dying's a tragedy. No one could have anticipated that. That was the force majeure disaster. Right.
But just generally, it's kind of like, we saw old Han Solo, that kind of rocked.
Yes.
We saw old Luke Skywalker, people have complicated feelings, but he gave a big performance.
He did.
Mm-hmm. We saw old Leia, there's little bits where you're kind of like, that kind of rocks, but like, there's not much of it. And it's sort of, and it's like, and now if they're like, hey, we're going to do episode 10, it's like, yeah, but you're not going to do it with them. So that's that over.
But
so now what are you going to do?
Our friends who've been watching Star Wars with their kids are all like, Rey still fucking hits.
Oh yeah, Rey rocks.
Like what kids watching this today, born after these films ended, that trilogy ended, are like, I'm buying Rey. I'm buying Rey like I'm buying Luke. Both of these work for me. Like I'm buying Anakin. I mean, that's the interesting thing about our friends with kids under 10 who have shown them all three trilogies are like, they're in on all three of these arcs. Yeah. They like the innocent. They like seeing the innocent go bad. They like seeing the different versions of what the innocent becomes. That all works. The elephant in the room, I think we should just talk about very briefly.
The Rotta in the room.
The Rotta in the room.
The Hutt in the room.
It was revealed earlier this year that they had been deep in development and had greenlit. And Lucasfilm internally was ready to go on a movie that was going to be directed by Steven Soderbergh and written by Scott Z. Burns, one of his regular collaborators. that was the Kylo Ren movie.
Yeah.
That was basically Adam Driver being like, we gotta fucking undo this Rise of Skywalker mess.
Clearly Driver just being like,
Him
that character rocked.
personally.
Yeah.
Yes, like, and we didn't do it right. And can we just bring him back and like do a better thing?
Right. And no one knows exactly what the take was on how he's back or what, it was, but it was going to be set after episode 9 and it was going to be called The Hunt for Ben Solo and not be episode 10 proper, but it be this Kylo Ren, Ben Solo movie. And Lucasfilm greenlights it. Kathleen Kennedy greenlights it.
It went along some amount of time.
And Disney says no to it.
Yeah.
And Kathleen Kennedy did an exit interview earlier this year where she was like, that's the only time that's happened, that we wanted to make something and they overruled us. And the argument that was given to us is, we don't think you've justified in the story undoing his death.
Right. It's like, I just don't see how he's alive.
Right. Versus like Mando and Grogu, I got no questions about. They're on another adventure. And it speaks to like what a mess this thing is. Where kind of what everyone wants is a movie that could undo the damage of 9. And I accept some pretty stupid logic if it leads to a good movie that is functional on its own terms and leaves me feeling like these characters are in a better place.
But then it's like, what, you're going to make a whole movie that like exists to fix continuity, right? And it's like, on the one hand, sure. On the other hand, should you just do something else? Just forget it.
Maybe.
Just like lob the ball to another field.
But then I'm also like, if Adam Driver wants to do it, that's already more of an argument in favor.
That's the thing. That's the baffling part. That you have an enthusiastic Adam Driver and Steven Soderbergh that want to play in the sandbox.
That's an energy that Mando doesn't have, where Pedro Pascal's like, so what, 5 days total, right?
It speaks to the Disney thing where they are not hearing Soderbergh, Driver, they're hearing like, they're going to be expensive. They're going to have notes. They're going to push back. Like they're probably hearing just kind of like, those are artists. We don't want to deal with that. We just want to make something that's like, we can control.
The thing with Soderbergh was part of his big pitch was, I figured out how to make this movie cheaper. I think these movies got too expensive and that created a fear around making big creative decisions. He's been figuring out how to shoot movies on fucking iPhones. This wasn't going to be that, but he was like, I think I can apply some of what I learned to make a movie that costs half as much as what these other things cost. Closer to probably the budget of this movie. And said, like, it would be great if we could free Star Wars up to have different budget levels. This is a thing that fucked Marvel eventually, is that the movies got so big, they couldn't make a smaller film. Right. So everything has to be $300 million worth of justification. And I to some degree, commend that Mando's small.
Sort of. At least he's not trying, to be the start of something new.
It's not cacophonous, but it's like it really places a lot of its bets on Rotta the Hutt, who is ripped, ab-laden, Jeremy Allen White with a pitch-down voice, whose characterization is just, my dad was shitty. I'm trying not to be like
not him. Like my dad.
I'm like a muscle bro.
Now
He's
let's
kind
fight
of looks
the chess pieces from the chess thing.
So, Chris.
Yeah.
This character.
I'm actually watching a Twitter video of it right now.
Rotta the Hutt.
Of Rotta.
This character
here he is.
Sucks.
This is like
really rough.
This is like hard to watch.
Can I ask
so bad.
Where you saw the film, Ben? I know you saw it with some kids, but
I saw it at the Cobble Hill Theater.
Oh, that's kind of a fun place to see it.
And what actually I think enhanced it for me, as like on an emotional level, is that the 15-year-old kids that were there were talking throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
And that
were they into it?
Get distracted from the film.
Sure.
Because I could then lock in on my anger at like this kid whispering to his friend that's Jeremy Allen White up there on the screen or whatever the fuck. What did you ask me?
Oh, just were they into the movie? Were they like this?
They
rocked?
loved it. They were laughing at everything.
Really?
Every bad fucking joke. They were like rolling and fucking in the aisles.
Maybe we're the old heads and we just need to let it go.
Every time Grogu came on screen, there was a group of like girls. Yeah. They were just like
that's what I mean. Like, I understand projections.
Thank you.
But I watched a movie where I'm like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
I have to let go of the idea that Star Wars is going to give me anything to actually chew on like it really legitimately used to. But like, The kids in that theater walked out visibly amped.
Is Andor almost a problem because it demonstrated that can still be done? Well, and then we're like, why don't you do this all the time?
Yeah.
This is the fascinating thing is I've been so deep in Star Wars, and the closer we've gotten to this, the more I've been watching, right? To make my deadline, my self-imposed deadline. And the majority of the stuff I've watched, I have not liked. And a lot of it, I found kind of a slog to get through and kind of boring. And I'm not a binge watcher in general. So that notion of being like, to stay on schedule, I gotta watch 3 tonight has like often felt like true homework. In a way, this job of doing the podcast and having assigned viewing usually does not. Yet, the more I'm watching the stuff I don't like, as much as watching the stuff like Andor that I love, I've come out of it just being like, fuck, I'm remembering how much I love Star Wars. Like when I see Andor, it reminds me everything that makes me love Star Wars. And when I watch the stuff I don't like, it reminds me of what it's not doing, which reminds me of what I do like about Star Wars, where I've just like have bought 3 Star Wars shirts in the last 2 weeks. Because I keep being like, fucking Star Wars.
What'd you buy?
They're like old comic art shirts, which I kind of like it's the Marvel comic.
Isn't it funny
the characters,
how all these like bespoke t-shirt shops online and stuff, and like, you know, like with these sort of like indie designs of shit we like X-Men or Star, are basically just kind of like, you know, those guys on the street who would just have weird t-shirts that were kind of like bootleg?
Bootleg stuff has become official.
Right. We're that.
Yeah.
It's $45, please.
Yes.
Right. Like it's like we're that.
You want a hoodie that makes you look like Nightcrawler.
Right.
Do I have a $98 deal for you? And by the way, you don't know if this is a drop shipping company in China that might take 8 months to send it to you.
Or is it like a hypebeast company run by VC people?
I almost think to speak to what we just touched on, Andor almost feels like a really profound accident that it ever slipped through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think that a lot of the explosions of nerd entertainment, when you look at them historically, actually match up with points of major societal anxiety.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Like,
and we're living through one of those moments.
Right? Like superheroes were invented by young Jewish creators as Hitler was rising in Europe. This is when superheroes were invented. Like, and
feeling empowered as survivors, making it through the other side.
No, well, that on 60s Marvel was a combination of those same Jewish creators. Now also talking about survivorship and nuclear anxiety, right? All the origins of the Marvel.
It's a lot of civil rights.
But you look at Spider-Man, Hulk, Fantastic Four, X-Men, all nuclear anxiety leading into social movements.
Children of the Atom.
Feminism, racial anxiety, all of it, right? The same years that race riots were happening in major American cities are the same years Marvel's exploding.
And Star Wars about the Vietnam War. It's about
exactly
another era, a new form of fascism on the horizon. It's about all of these things.
And now we don't, like, I don't know what to point to that's doing that now. And then Andor, maybe it seems accidentally or Trojan horse did in a way that feels like such a tease compared to everything else, which is like, now they fight a big dragon snake. Now they fight a couple of robots. And now they fight this and that. And now they fight the whole fucking chessboard and now they fly away.
The chessboard are the monsters?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, you didn't love that, Ben?
Well, because they just looked like nothing.
Yes.
They just looked like
it was monster
moving.
The monster.
Right. They looked like goop.
Ben, thank you for calling that out. I have a thing I want to say about this. So the chessboard was done by Phil Tippett, who's like one of my favorite film artists of all time.
The original Star Wars movie with the little puppets. Yeah.
It was
play guys.
It was the first moment that Phil Tippett really kind of shone in the process because he was brought in as sort of an additional guy to do stuff. They had shot the Dejarik chessboard as actors in costumes and it didn't look good. And George was like, can we get a Harryhausen's type thing? And they were like, Tippett's good at stop motion. And he does that, and it leads to the breakthrough of him being the guy who cracks the tauntaun and the AT-AT and all these sorts of things, right? And then RoboCop and Ed 209 is like a legend to me and like a genius. And I watched this documentary about him that was called, let me look it up quickly, but I watched it recently. It's a documentary made by 2 French guys that's mostly just kind of like informational about the entirety of his career and his worldview and whatever. And a lot of his compatriots were talking about him and what makes him so great. And they said the thing about Phil is a lot of people start with detail and build out a design from there. And Phil always starts with really elemental shapes. He lands on a shape that's interesting. And then he lands on a personality connected to that shape. And then he works into the finer detail. And it's like, right, you see the Dejaric chessboard for like seconds, and the different shapes on that board, beyond being different colors, feel so distinct and recognizable. This movie shows them for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it does. They move all around.
It covers them in a way where you basically never see them full body. You can't distinguish between them. And these are very honed designs by a genius. They brought Phil Tippett in to work on this movie. He did work. A lot of the special effects feel like they are CGI trying to approximate Phil Tippett's stop motion, especially the little walker that Mando's on in the snow at the beginning of the movie.
Hated that.
But it sucked.
Really?
But then I felt like the big robots at the end
You
might
guys
have actually been some version of stop motion. It certainly, they felt very Robo-Kane. So he's involved in this process. Like, this is a guy that Favreau idolizes, and yet he's not getting what made this guy's work.
What I didn't like about the opening sequence, apart from just generally kind of low energy, the weird thing of him going up and down the mountain in the walker, it just felt like a video game where you like one of those open world games where you like end up. No, it's like you're like, I'm going to go this way. And then you like climb over a mountain by mistake. Like, it just didn't make any sense, the physics of it.
Well, why would they be walking them on such a
He is a character
narrow
who can fly. Like,
yeah.
I get, but there is still a part of me that's a sucker for like Empire starts with a big dumb battle on Hoth.
Totally. And it's
a smart battle. It's a big smart battle.
It's literally,
it's pretty
literally a
smart.
cold open.
It's a physical opening. Ben has quit the podcast.
I guess I'm still just a bit of a sucker. Like, there's still just enough of a kid in me that's like, maybe they didn't nail it in every way, but like, I'll watch the heroes climb into a Star Wars walker machine.
I'll watch it.
I wanted
it's like
to feel that.
It's like a
5 out of 10.
They got
my chicken fingers.
They got a convertible ATST. They got an open top ATST. Okay.
This is me being 100% honest.
I still am charmed by that.
I wanted to feel that so badly. And because I was like feeling so ramped up on Star Wars, I go into the screen with David and I'm like, I'm not excited for this, but I bet when it starts, some of the key jangling's going to get to me.
Right.
I bet they're going to start showing me things that are Star Wars-y. By the way, I like these characters. I love that first season. I like Grogu. Grogu's like a Marvel, right? Like, they nail the execution of this character on a technical level, which is half really fucking high-level puppetry. And the genius of Grogu is when he's digital, they make the digital look like a puppet. They use the limitations. And like, Grogu fucking just works visually this whole movie. And I sat there and I kept waiting for anything to give me any feeling of joy. And I wasn't sitting there with my arms crossed. I wasn't like, this sucks. I just felt bored. And I don't know if it's that I like maxed out on Star Wars, if coming off of Andor, the bar was set too high, it being so fresh in my mind, or if I just am like, guys, we can't be doing this. Like, there has to be something new. I see the trailers for the He-Man movie, which is another dumb baby thing that I love so much. And like, the trailers have not been great, but I'm like, I guarantee you I'm going to sit there and they're going to show me characters and I'm going to point at the screen.
I got hope for Ram Man.
People are starting to say it's kind of good. I'm starting to be some okay responses.
Whereas the Street Fighter movie.
Yeah. You're out on that?
I don't know about that.
Interesting. But yeah, I'm like,
I don't know about that.
If I see Ram Man ram into a bunch of guys, I'm probably going to like, my heart will.
You have real connections to He-Man.
I have been Orko.
You've been Orko?
What a wild thing to be.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
It really is. It is Orko and Arthur are the two things where I'm like, it's actually crazy that they're characters that meant that much to me when I was young that I got a chance to play. And I like think about this stuff where it's like, in both of those cases, I want to do my own thing, but there's a legacy of these characters. I want anyone who like grew up with them to recognize not that it's identical, but that like the spirit of the thing is captured, but how do you do something new with it? I spent years professionally thinking on this stuff so much in a microcosm, only how it relates to like these characters. And just be like, it's got to be new. Otherwise, you're just doing an impression, but also don't try to make it your own thing and disregard the past entirely. And this movie to me felt like it was just like Snow, right? Like Hoth stuff?
Yeah. Like, you like that.
Maybe.
You like Walker. Like,
I do.
And
I
I'm
do
like
Walker.
Well, right. And I'm like I said, I'm like 5 out of 10. I ate my chicken fingers. If my kid was older, old enough to see it, I would have taken my kid and been like, yeah, it was all right.
You would have had a better time with your daughter than me because she would have gotten a little something out
Totally.
of it.
And I'm not like just gripping my hands together going, like, that's so fucking bad. But I am just kind of like, this ain't really getting my blood pumping.
Yeah, I was tired.
All right. we got to be done talking about that movie because I know you have toys to show me or whatever. Like we cannot ignore the toys.
Did we at least shout out Embo?
It's crazy that we didn't even mention that. There's a fucking assassin, the skinny assassin character
with the flat hat,
who basically becomes the antagonist for the second.
I called him Hat Man.
I kind of liked the character.
I thought
design.
he looked cool.
Apparently, he's from one of the animated.
He's a Filoni.
He's from the Clone Wars.
He's a Filoni thing, right?
Oh, he's a Filoni creation.
I briefly thought he was Constable Zuvio.
You did, and you went.
Like,
that would be
Zuvio.
You were like, that would be the coolest move.
I thought he was cool.
He's like, I'm gonna be
cool.
a constable.
I like that he has a dog.
I thought that wolf was cool.
Yeah. No, I thought
the wolf
was cool.
Can I say this?
Wait, what's the wolf?
He has a little
dog.
He has a wolf.
Oh,
that's like his Grogu.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something. It's gonna make me sound nuts.
Yeah.
You either got.
Here we go.
No, never mind. It's the type of thing that I say.
You have to say it, and then we're gonna do food and toys.
I think if you're gonna have the wolf pick up one of the Babu Fricks with its mouth, just kill the Babu.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
have the courage at your conviction.
For Babu Frick.
Kill one of the Babu Fricks.
I think it's okay if maybe one is maimed. Much like 2 Ewoks die in Return of the Jedi.
Right, and you have it roll over and go, and it's kind of sad.
It's kind of sad.
With you a little bit.
It's good. It brings you in.
Again, like the corporatism is showing when it's like, well, we can't possibly kill one of the Babu Fricks. The children will be sad. It's like, then don't have the wolf ever put it in its mouth, but don't go halfway. Kill the Babu Frick.
Is there like, I just like the Star Wars thing of like the Anzelians. That's the Babu Frick aliens. Where it's like, so do they just all like being mechanics? Is it a world of mechanics?
This is where Star Wars gets weird with its like races sometimes.
Like, are there no Anzelians who are like, I make fucking pizza? Like, someone's got to eat.
I'm working on an EP. Dad, I like music.
Maybe they're like
just all guys with a bunch of goggles.
Maybe they're like Cornish miners. Maybe it happens to be an industry they have excelled in culturally for decades.
Let's go with that.
So we bring them to Michigan and have them.
Miners.
They're like the Cornish miners of the Star Wars universe.
You remember how Carrie Russell is in episode 9 as like a lady with a helmet or whatever?
Zori Bliss, she's a spice dealer.
Right. And like, I've forgotten that.
She's got tight booty.
But there was Babu Frick and it was like, Babu Frick!
Like Babu was on her shoulder and we forget that she existed.
And like that Babu
Frick. Fantastic actress.
Babu Frick,
you don't see her face.
Actress. Incredible.
She wears a helmet the whole fucking
Maybe one of our best living actresses.
She's up there.
Time.
Yeah.
Babu Frick only survives because Spielberg at the end was like, where's Babu
Where
Frick?
the fuck is
like,
Babu?
Are you guys idiots? So they have him like pop up and go like, hey.
Okay, I know we're trying to move on, and I think you should do your thing. I want to, at least because we've been slamming on this movie, I want to call out some good stuff quickly at the end.
I went on record from the start that I liked it better than I thought I was going to.
Here's the thing I want to shout out is I like all of the shady droids that work for the twins. I think there's awesome design there. And even the assassin we've been talking about, Embo, he has some other guys in his crew, including the one that's headless. I think that shit's cool.
This is the stuff that felt very Tippett to me. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the stuff he worked on directly, because he's got a pretty major credit in the film, I noticed. Yeah.
But I just like the idea that there's mercenary droids.
Yeah. No.
But that's been in Star Wars before, though. But I guess it's cool.
But no, it's
cool
good.
and it's different. And
sure.
I'm trying to, I don't know why.
In speaking positively about most of the Disney Plus stuff, like I said, I liked Obi-Wan more than most people. I liked Ahsoka more than most people. Found Book of Boba Fett. I watched it all. And I found it disappointing.
I didn't hate that. It was a little disappointing.
I think it gets worse.
I think the Mandalorians, like the stuff on the Mandalorian world, it got away from what I liked about the first season. But on its own, I liked it well enough.
Sure.
But I think I've had to kind of almost start treating Star Wars as like, that's someone I used to date who I was deeply in love with.
That is how I feel right now.
It's a great way to.
And I'm buying t-shirts.
But then it's like, we broke up, but we can still text. Like it's an ex that I'm still friends with, but we don't love each other anymore. But we can still text. There's a reason you fell in love,
Andor,
right?
when you had like a week-long like vacation with them later, and like it was like back to the glory days.
Andor is
but
when
you had to leave it, you know, like behind.
Andor is when you are frustrated in your current relationship, and then while you're on the toilet, you check your ex's Instagram to see how they're doing. Like,
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Maybe that's why I like Andor so much. I feel like my relationship to Star Wars is closer to it being the ex, where I'm like, we're friends and it's good. Is she still dating that guy? You know, I want to believe
again.
No. The opposite. I want to believe like maybe there's like a universe where it could work out again. Right. Even if it seems unlikely.
Yeah, we've got to get past
because the base
that.
of emotions is so strong.
Culturally, we have to get past the idea that we're ever getting back together with Star Wars again.
David, I bought this toy for George Lucas Talk Show. Sure. We were in Pittsburgh and Connor wanted to do the George Lucas Pitch Show, which is an insane idea. So I was like, oh, can I get a Grogu that does something so I can act like Grogu's a patient? This toy is called Galactic Snack and Grogu. He's got a weird open mouth. And if you push his tummy, his cheeks flex. And the idea is that he comes with little snacks.
Little niblets.
And you feed them into his mouth. And he chews them, sort of. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. They go down there.
They go down.
Yeah.
And then how do you get them back?
Pretty far back.
Now, this was... It's more... I was just doing it for visibility. It's more about... You can do it facing up. I bought this for the show, and then the theater had bad eye lines, or sight lines.
Yeah.
So it didn't work at all. I'm gifting you this for your daughter.
Oh, sure.
She will have fun with it. The food's in the backpack. And this is what Mandalorian and Grogu is all about. It's about merchandise and it's about snacking. So I found 4 different food items. We don't have to eat all of them now, but I at least want to just introduce them.
I have a feeling I know where you bought them.
I don't think you can guess. I'm holding a big Target bag. These are...
So many toys.
Oh, fuck.
No, they're not toys. They're food. Oh, you're saying your box of toys.
Yeah.
Did you get these as well?
I did.
Great. Ben and I parallel thinking.
Trash.
Great. Okay. Fan Foods. Officially delicious. Outer Rim Ranch flavored chips. The cutest chip in the galaxy. The chips are shaped like Grogu. I find this pretty morbid.
There is a part of me that this is bringing me back to growing up in the 80s where Mr. T's face was just on everything now.
Yes, it does feel like that. So that we have 2 boxes of Nilla wafers. We have 2 boxes of Fan Foods. Ben, did you buy anything else?
Ben was late to this. I mean, not late, but like, delayed because he was buying these at Target.
Yes.
Ben,
I do have...
did you also
I have one other thing.
Purchase Muddy Bites cookies and cream filled waffle cones with green vanilla filling?
No, I didn't see those at the Target I went to.
Okay, so that's a proprietary item to the grift bag. Did you purchase this?
What is that?
What the fuck is that? It's like
it's called a Pop Poles.
Oh boy.
At home movie theater popcorn kit.
Does it make popcorn?
It's 3 buckets and 2 bags of microwave popcorn, but most interestingly, Galactic Stardust popcorn seasoning.
Oh, sure.
I don't know what that tastes like. Ben,
the stars, of course.
What was the other item that you bought?
Well, because I knew it was Chris's birthday tomorrow, so I thought it would be nice to at least get him a gift.
That's so nice. Thank you.
So here, I'll give it to you. 1 sec.
Okay, here's the Galactic seasoning. It doesn't have ingredients listed on it. This unit is not marked for individual. So, whoa.
This is really
and
kind.
This was
Thank
worth you being delayed.
This was worth that.
This is a Mandalorian and Grogu electronic Mando mask.
So are you saying it's a voice changer mask like the one my sister had? Is this going to make you get Jeremy Allen White voice?
It does seem to have a thing that if you hold down the button on the side and speak.
This is the way.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so it says Mando stuff. So it's not like you can put it on and be like, Donald Trump did nothing wrong in Mando. Like... Griff, can I ask why there are 2 Star Trek poster things on my desk?
Yes, you can ask.
Okay. Why? I'm not mad. I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
They're little pictures.
I thought you might like them because they're interesting little like promotional paintings.
Yeah.
I found at a vintage store, I think it was when I was in Pittsburgh, action figures of the Malcolm McDowell villain from Generations.
Of course, Tullian Soren.
And Alfre Woodard's character from First Contact.
We love her.
And they both came with these posters, and I thought you might like them.
I like them fine.
Yeah, I thought they're nice little original art.
I just like that they're anything with that kind of 90s feel.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I thought you'd like it. I thought it was your aesthetic.
I'm pro.
Okay, I'm putting the ears on this popcorn bucket. I think this has been a good episode. I think we've gone on a journey. There have been ups and there have been downs.
Look, if we just literally like broke down... Okay, Chris. Okay, someone get a picture of this because this is pretty good.
Okay, this is really good. Fuck.
Although it is underlining that the Grogu, the Mandalorian is the most quotable guy. Okay, he's just saying lasers. It's just not even words.
Mandalorian.
What was that?
I am the Mandalorian. It's a mask that literally says I am the Mandalorian. What if the next one is I am not Boba Fett? Some of these are just sounds.
I don't think the sound effects were a good call.
I need some information.
I need some information.
This is what he talks like.
Where is Rotta?
Hi.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
Thank you, Ben.
Stuntman.
You look great.
You're so welcome.
Truly a kind present.
This definitely feels like the most thematically appropriate way to sort of wind down this episode, because this is what it's all about, folks.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this movie exists to create these bags of
It exists
bullshit.
for toy.
And for snack.
Yeah.
For Nummies.
But we'll make sure to post pics of all of this stuff
you better believe
on
it.
social.
Yeah.
God, this thing is freaky.
It is weird, right?
The cheek movements.
I thought it was going to be really funny, and then you just couldn't see it from the stage. But I'm sure
kind of cute.
It's kind of cute. The cheek movements are weird, and I thought the creepiness would play more visually.
Right.
So we think this is going to end up at like a 74 day, 75.
Oh, you think it's not going to make 104 day?
That's where people are projecting right now.
Let me see what we're doing, I guess, sort of the box office prediction game.
Yep.
So it it had 12 million previews. That's the exact number that Captain America Brave New World had.
Okay.
That made 104.
Okay.
My guess is that Mando will be slightly over that because it's more kid friendly. So I would guess that it's like low 100.
Okay.
4 day. But obviously, the word of mouth is not great, although nor was it great for something like Captain America Brave New World.
This is true.
But I just think the kind of like, dude, it's a fucking rainy Memorial Day weekend and Baby Yoda is on a screen. Like, take your kids. Like, what's good? What's the worst that could happen?
I'm going to say 85.
Obviously, the other contenders at the box office right now are Curry Barker's Obsession, which is already like a kind of a breakout hit.
It looks like it's maybe going to go up this weekend.
Yes,
it's certainly
like
going to. It feels like it's number 2 dethroning
it's a horror movie.
Devil Wears Prada. It's a very good film.
It's good.
I liked it.
It's quite effective.
I shouldn't say very good, but I liked it a lot. I had a good time.
It's effective.
It's very effective. That's a good way of putting it, David. You're a good film critic.
Oh, Jesus.
And a dear friend.
Please relax.
I'm sorry if sometimes this show gets annoying to do.
It's quite hard.
This is the way. We kind of got a Mando Grogu relationship. Sometimes you have to tell me to kneel.
It's funny how Griffin's kind of trying to apologize for cutting me off.
I mean, it's a somewhat self-aware bit.
It's pretty good. Devil Wears Prada 2 is doing fine. Like it's holding fine. Well. I mean, yeah, exactly. Like it's good. Mortal Kombat 2 is doing, the kind of 60% drops one expects of a Mortal Kombat movie, but like, hey, everyone's happy. You see Mortal Kombat 2?
No.
Not bad.
It's a lot of fun.
Do you like Katana?
Sure.
Do you like Baraka? All of our friends are here.
This is probably the best Katana's been in a movie in a long time.
Raiden's in there. Maybe I'll take a flyer on it.
Sheep Detectives, that's holding on. Is there anything else new this week, Griff?
No,
right?
There's no counter programming.
I don't. Right? I mean, oh no, there is counter programming, right? Because there's
what?
Fuck, isn't there one thing? I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, there's I Love Boosters.
Oh, sure.
But I assume that'll be a little low. It doesn't, right?
Yeah.
And then there's this horror movie Passenger, which I haven't
Andre
seen.
Orvidal, whose movies I kind of like.
What else did he make?
He did Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and he did Autopsy of Jane Doe, I want to say.
Yeah, those are both kind of interesting.
Yeah,
it's just funny because it's like Deadline is referring it to as like the Melissa Leo horror film Passenger.
Sure thing.
And I'm trying to imagine how many people are like walking up to the box office being like, I hear there's a new Melissa Leo movie. I think next week, though, I think this is something Mando didn't see coming. I think Backrooms is going to eat its lunch a little bit.
I mean, they're saying Backrooms might open to 50 now,
like Backrooms is one of those things where it's like, you don't understand. Every 20-year-old is very locked into like liminal spaces.
This is an A24 movie directed by a 22-year-old?
He's 21. No, he's 20 years old and he will be turning 21 in a month.
He cannot
drink. I interviewed him recently.
Legally. This movie is about to open, incredibly large. It's an adaptation of a viral YouTube video. It's like a real changing of the guard moment for Hollywood.
It is. It rocks. It's a good movie. And I liked him a lot. He was really smart. Just some kid self-taught during COVID how to make like visual effects shit and, started making YouTube shorts and kind of rocks.
Yeah.
Like he was housebound by both the pandemic and arthritis.
Well, I can't
taught himself Blender. Yeah.
Yeah, except I didn't learn Blender. I got a faulty bucket. It's got 2 right ears.
Yeah, that doesn't look right.
This Grogu bucket. So we'll post a picture of. I've been fussing with it, trying to figure out if I was thinking it wrong. It is. Yeah, it's a rare variant.
Chris, is there
Yes.
anything we haven't covered?
Oh no,
that
I
you
think
wanted
we've been
to-
very thorough.
No, we
Are
did
you
it.
sure?
Yeah, no, we got to all my notes.
Korra?
I haven't watched Korra yet. It's next up on my list.
Has your
Avatar is
son-
very good though.
Has your son watched Korra?
He started watching it, yeah, but then we decided to watch it as a family. and we
Okay,
sat
okay,
down
so
and-
he put it.
Yeah.
What
And I've
else
heard-
is your son into?
That's been the big one lately. Jurassic World has been very big for him.
World.
The whole Jurassic World cartoon.
Oh,
Not the-
I've heard that show's
the
kind of
the
fun.
films are too scary for him.
Yeah,
but
yeah, the
Jurassic,
cartoons.
I can say that Jurassic World seems to be very big with kids in his age group.
Yes.
in
Well,
general.
Yeah.
dinosaurs. You know,
Yeah,
they endure.
dinosaurs are back in a big way. And what else? That's about it. He went through an Italian brain rot phase. I'm really glad that's over.
I don't know what that means.
Oh.
Asa Ehrlich was really into Italian brain rot.
What is that?
It's so funny that
He's
David Ehrlich was like, my child will never watch Western animation.
It will make
It's
you feel
Ghibli only.
It'll make you feel worried. He did get very into Hallie got him very into like Totoro and Miyazaki stuff.
Yeah.
These AI generated
I'm looking
fucking
it up.
ADHD cartoons called Italian brain rot. Tung Sahur, Crocodilo Bombardillo.
They all have insane names and they
They're
look
really
like
nuts.
nightmares.
Chimpanzini Bananini.
Is this
They're
on
like a
YouTube that
cup
they
of
find
coffee
it,
with a
or-
hot
It's all
dog dick.
YouTube nonsense. I don't know if it's like Russians influencing my child to betray
Definitely
America
Russians,
someday.
Yes.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh, this is just like random AI slop. And you're like, no, it feels like this was made by a human hand
They've got
for some
millions of views.
nefarious purpose.
right for
There's
evil.
also like
To
rap
what
songs
end?
that have 55 million views on YouTube that is AI generated rap sung by the Italian brain rats. But I will tell you, I'm glad that phase is over. In the beginning of first grade, my son would often say to me, "Who's your favorite brain rot?" And I would go, "I don't know, man. Tung to her." And he'd go, "Who are your favorite 17?" And would not stop until I named 17 brain rots. And when I tell you this happened like 3 times a day, every day, it was starting to drive me into madness.
Chris, I congratulate you on making it through that period. And I hope
Yeah, it
you
was
never
tough.
have to look back.
Although some of the songs are catchy, some of the AI generated rap songs.
I'm sure they are. They are.
Beautiful Anonymous.
Look, I mean, I still have the
Tralalelo, tralala.
the
That was
Pink
so good.
Fong Lion song. Anyone out there, get at me if you also listen to that 100 times.
I'm never going to listen to that.
Yeah, you should. You
I don't
should
want it
fucking listen
infecting
to
my
it.
brain. Beautiful Anonymous is still one of the best podcasts
Yeah,
out there.
Beautiful Anonymous just celebrated its 10-year anniversary.
Hell yeah.
Oh shit!
Sort of a
Congrats.
sister
Thanks.
shout out
That's
in a
awesome.
way. Some
Yeah,
around the
tracks,
same
some
time.
timelines.
I will ask too. All bits aside, I know I've been the bad boy to Blank Check fans,
boy,
but
good
go
boy.
listen to an episode because I'm trying to get that show to survive.
Truly.
We have a contract to 2028, and I'm trying to just like get people back into it. And,
It's an incredible show. It's
thanks.
and it's like a good thing you do, not to be self-righteous about it.
Thank
but
you.
like,
Yeah, no, I feel good about it. And then also on June 11th, we're doing a What's in the Dumpster live stage
Yes.
show.
We're paying homage to the 10-year anniversary.
10-year anniversary of
One Man's Trash.
the one episode of my show everybody universally liked. Paul, it's going to be live at UCB. Paul Scheer will be there. This hasn't been announced yet, but Manzukis arranged his schedule. He'll be coming in.
Hell yeah.
I've reached out to spoiler person from the first dumpster. I won't say it to see if he wants to be there on stage. And yeah, it's already sold out, but there will be a live stream ticket for $10, so you can watch that live.
And what's the date on it? Sorry.
That's on Thursday, June 11th.
Nice.
And if you're in New Jersey, my beloved New Jersey, I've got tickets on sale in Red Bank, June 19th.
Oh, we're Kevin Smith's
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the secret stash is down there.
places, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Red Bank, New Jersey.
You've been to Smodcast. I've been there with you.
Yeah.
You guys have.
We
I
did
never- I
GLTS
wasn't
there,
there.
and then I went to a Dogma screening there. And did I
Right.
go there one other
It's
time?
pretty great.
I really love it.
I really love him.
Like
You know
the
what?
Smod Castle, or the,
the fact
the
that
theater.
he owns a movie
Yeah,
theater.
he bought his childhood movie theater, the Smod Castle Cinemas in Atlantic Highlands. Is that correct?
Yes. And
Yes.
I know you know him better. You've worked with him and you know him much better than
On the He-Man show.
I know.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, meeting Kevin Smith and you realize he's just exactly
He's
who you
just
hope
like
he
that.
is. You
He
hope
re-
he
he
is
really is.
exactly who you want him
Yep.
to be. And
He
it's
is.
good.
You know,
Yeah, it
I
is.
weirdly get asked about him a lot.
There's something very special about
so
him.
large,
Yes.
especially for our generation.
But people
you know,
are like, you're
millennials,
friendly
like-
with him, right? Like, you know him. Like, what's he actually like? And I was like, he's actually everything you want him to be.
He's wearing a suit jacket and denim shorts and down to tell stories
And
and,
I-
laughs a lot.
I think the people who are the most cynical about him are completely disarmed when they meet him, when you see just like how thoroughly genuine he is. And he's incredibly
Oh.
thoughtful and smart.
he is as you can imagine, as a DIY jersey creator, he looms very, very large in my history.
I mean,
I'm one of the biggest Mallrats defenders you'll ever meet.
Geth, we were only going to have him be the guest for that show. And I threw out the flyer and I said, I think we should ask Chris to be on.
Nice.
I think beyond the fact that it's like a mitzvah to have you two guys like engage on stage and connect as people, I was like, I think it will make for good entertainment. I think you guys are going to get into it, and you did. You started just naming locations, and the audience was applauding.
It was fun shit.
It was great.
Thanks again.
No, you're the best. And I said it before very cleanly with no crosstalk. The three of us would not know each other without you.
It is
on the most fundamental level, there's no universe in which the show exists without
maybe
you.
Griff and I are acquaintances, but like obviously these bonds were forged.
But I meet Ben in the basement because he's 100%. Assigned to become the second producer of Talking TCGS, the podcast I do with Riley Solomon.
Thrilled by the assignment.
No, I was.
A weirdly popular show in its time from what I remember.
It was bizarre.
Yeah, it did well.
And David and I only meet because Alyssa Stonoa tweets that the two of us should be friends because we're both active in the Gethard community.
Yes. Well, I will say at this point in my career, which has slowed down a lot, it is very strange for me to be in rooms sometimes and realize I am just strangely a person who can sometimes walk into a room and realize, oh, most of these people know each other because of me.
Yeah.
Which is strange to say for a guy who is generally pretty socially uncomfortable and sort of off in the corner. But it's a point of pride that I've been able to work with so many great people and smart people such as yourselves over the years.
You're the best and we love you.
We do love you.
And it's always a pleasure to have you on. You were never shadow banned. I need to communicate that very clearly.
Why did you think he was shadow banned?
Because you felt like there was a gap post Spider-Man 2 that was pointed.
Because I'm mentally ill.
Brother, I feel you big time. Yeah. My brain is so bad. It's crazy.
A lot of people like being on the show. We're always just trying to like match guest to thing well, you know?
We'll say like Matt Singer is about to come back on, the aforementioned Matt Singer. And he was like, thanks for having me on. Like, I hope I can be on again sooner than 3 years from now. And we were like, shut up. You were on 6 months ago.
Yeah,
we checked the calendar. We were like, 3 fucking years. The fuck are we doing? I was, and this has been the way.
Oh God.
Clearly. We talked about the movie a little bit.
A smidge.
Sure. This was
I'm
the
not
one
like
connection.
my dad.
The one connection I was going to make. Do you know who was the DP on this film?
Who?
The man who shot Clerks.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Kevin Smith's Jersey buddy, who like that was his first professional.
And Mallrats and Chasing Amy.
Mallrats. Yes. Mallrats underrated.
But I'm just saying, like,
you guys don't like seeing a spaceship that looks like a turtle?
I like the ship. I like the Anzelians.
Okay.
Turtle. I had this
like
turtle.
Stephen Anzelians had a little
the
ship.
best part.
Yeah. What was the best part? Oh, Stephen McKinley in the rocking horror chair.
Right. And
that was good.
Grilling some sandwiches, I guess. And then Scorsese. I guess the only two good characters are the ones who grill meat.
Are puppets grilling meat. I mean, I know Scorsese wasn't really a puppet.
Yeah.
Voiced by esteemed members of the artistic community.
I'm just saying, is that what is really kind of activating Favreau the most as an artist, is being able to tell the story of people making sandwiches?
Yeah, you're so right. I'm seeing here David Klein shot a bunch of the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, he's become the default Disney Plus Star Wars guy. I just bring it up because like he was a guy bootstrapping it with the Kevin Smith thing, learned how to be a DP across those movies, and now is shooting Star Wars. And I know that like Kevin's been doing screenings all weekend with him talking to the audience afterwards, which is really fun at the Smod Castle Theater. So shout out that if you're in the area and you need to still see the movie. Sorry that we ruined it for you. Thank you all for listening. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Next week is an episode. It's a movie that I kind of foisted upon David. It's called Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World.
Right, that's next week.
David very quickly sets the rules in place that it is his episode.
Yeah, you're like, you try some like,
I did one bit at the beginning.
And I'm like, we're not doing that.
You were in tears.
I was like, no. It's best step off, sir.
But don't worry, it is absolutely you and John Hodgman.
We have fucking Andrew Stanton coming up. There's plenty of Griff material in the future.
No. I was saying, don't worry that you go off.
No, I think we had fun on that episode. John talks a lot about boats.
Hodgman talking boats.
Yes,
it's a good episode. So we're finishing that up, and then we've already sort of soft announced it, but Andrew Stanton is coming right after that.
We will be covering Disclosure Day as well.
Yes. There are a couple summer releases that will take some breaks. Odyssey obviously comes in the middle of Stanton, but we'll be doing Finding Nemo through Toy Story 5.
Yeah.
And then Scorsese starting right after that. Martin Scorsese, I don't know if you know this, the guy who plays the flat meat dealer in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie.
His name is
also directs movies.
Blarp or whatever.
I'll have to look him up.
And we're going to cover him on the podcast.
We also have a Patreon. We just recently covered Mortal Kombat, and we're gonna soon kick off our RoboCop series on June 1st.
Yep.
You can sign up for that at patreon.com/blankcheck.
Guys, I'm so excited to take a nap. I'm really.
Don't worry, Griff.
it.
We have like 6 ads to do after we stop recording.
A post-ad nap is the sweetest nap of all.
I'm so excited to pee.
Yeah.
I love
Rotta. His abs, his body, his brain, his sparkling wit.
What do I love
his
from this?
dad? You love his dad, right? His dad's a good person?
Yeah.
And he's just like him?
I miss him. He had some riz.
Again, I'll shout out a lot of the images we've been talking about will be posted on our social. Also, sign up for our newsletter. We have a Substack called Checkbook.
Yes.
Where we also have a lot of that stuff if you don't engage with social media.
And I'm sure Marie's going to have a lot of Mandalorian and Grogu thoughts, a movie she has many times said she is excited to never see.
Can't really argue with her.
And as always, David, you were trying to remember things you love.
Yeah.
And I just want to end this episode on a positive note. I love you, and I want to remind you that you love coaxium, which I think is best served cold.
I think, isn't it actually best served cold? I think you did it wrong.
Yeah, you did
it
wrong.
has to be cold. So good job remembering the coaxium should be cold.
Okay, so I'm responsible.
Yes, nice.
I guess that's how we're going to end it.
Yeah.
Blank Check with Griffin and David is hosted by Griffin Newman and David Sims. Our executive producer is me, Ben Hostley. Our creative producer is Marie Barty Salinas. And our associate producer is AJ McKeon. This show is mixed and edited by AJ McKeon and Alan Smithy. Research by JJ Birch. Our theme song is by Lane Montgomery and the Great American Novel, with additional music by Alex Mitchell. Artwork by Joe Bowen, Ollie Moss, and Pat Reynolds. Our production assistant is Minnick. Special thanks to David Cho, Jordan Fish, and Nate Patterson for their production help. Head over to blankcheckpod.com for links to all of the real nerdy shit. Join our Patreon, Blank Check Special Features, for exclusive franchise commentaries and bonus episodes. Follow us on social at BlankCheckPod. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, Checkbook, on Substack. This podcast is created and produced by Blank Check Productions.
Ben, are we recording? Okay, and what I'm about to say is going to sound like it's pre-roll, but I both want you to keep it in and actually do what I ask. Okay, Ben?
Yeah,
It'll make sense in a second.
I'll do what you ask.
Cool. Okay, kayfabe.
Not like blanket statement.
No.
But
okay, okay. So kayfabe starting now. Ben, can you put a filter on my voice? In post.